in the Netherlands, which was the last game that New Zealand played before they came to the Caribbean. Santner was actually captaining the side in the absence of Conway and Williamson, and he made 77 off 42, batting at number 3. So he has done the job before, but I think what makes it interesting for me is that this is exactly what you were talking about, almost banging on endlessly the other day about West Indies changing their approach. This is exactly the sort of thing that the West Indies could possibly do. Put someone like Shepherd or Powell a little bit higher up the order and just smash it, basically.
Yep, you're right about that. Well, it's going to be Hossain to continue the attack. He's done pretty well for the West Indies. He's got a backward point. There's a short third man covering the boundary. Extra cover inside the boundary. Long off, long on. There's a man at that short fine leg, backward square and a mid-wicket. The party stand is very much in evidence here. It's going to be Hossain to bowl over number 7. Comes in, bowls to Conway, who's 19, and he just drags this one again. He likes that shot a lot. Tailing away, gets it down towards that mid-wicket area. Long on, comes across to try to pick it up. Mid-wicket in the end, the captain picks it up. And there's a run. Today, Poran is not captain the side. He's not playing. Several changes made by the West Indies team. And the news is that Powell is the captain. 48 for 1. Sackner's on 13. Conway's got 20. And the man to go up till bowled by Hossain for 15. Here's Hossain in his second over. Comes in to bowl to Sackner. He's swinging the ball away down to long on. The catch is taken. He's gone. And Hossain strikes again in the sunshine of Sabina Park. A ball given Samir. There was a batsman bowling for that big drive. It went down towards long on. And it went into the buckets of the captain, who pouched it comfortably. And in over number 7 is 48 for 2. Hossain strikes again at Sabina Park.
Yeah, Santner went for the big shot there, and I guess that's exactly what he's there for, is to play the big shots. But that was pretty poorly executed, you'd have to say. The ball was absolutely there to hit. He just did not time that at all, and he goes for 13 off 11 balls. But no big dramas for New Zealand. I mean, that's, as I say, he was obviously there as a bit of a pinch hitter, and 48 for 2 after 6.2 overs is not a bad situation to be in. That brings Conway Williamson to the crease, and I think now we'll see Kane play the way that he normally plays, just get off to a steady start and then look to up the pace later on. Conway's looking pretty good though. He's there at the moment on 20 off 14, just quietly accumulating as he does. He's had 2 40s already in this series, and maybe today's the day for Conway to score a really big one. Just as an aside, Andrew, I'm a bit surprised they didn't give Finn Allen a game today. The other opening batsman.
Oh, you thought he would have played?
Yeah, I just had a feeling they might have given him a run today in a match that it doesn't carry much weight because New Zealand's already won the series. But what it does say is that probably Guptill and Conway will open in the ODIs as well, and Finn Allen will probably just be a passenger for this trip.
Oh, passenger. Okay. Well, it's going to be Hossain, who's certainly not a passenger. He's a driver. He's actually picked up 2 for 12. He's going to bowl to Williamson. Round the wicket, left arm, orthodox spin in, bowls to Williamson. Williamson is forward to ball, pitches in the line with a stump, and plays the ball at the onside of the pitch. The bowler comes across to pick it up. 48 for 2.
You get a chance. Why was he not playing in the first
Well, was it an injury to him? There wasn't. Well, it's strange that he's not playing really. I thought he might have been injured. I didn't see anything to suggest that he was. 48 for 2. Here is Hossain. Round the wicket, comes in to bowl to Williamson. And Williamson is back, deep in his crease. From the leg stump, pushes to mid-wicket. He can't score. Some more ironic cheers coming for Odean Smith, who really would have been very embarrassed about his attempt in the last over.
Oh, wasn't that terrible?
Terrible indeed. 48 for 2. 2 balls left in over number 7. Here's Williamson round the wicket. Here's Hossain round the wicket. Comes in, bowls to Williamson. He's first forward and then back to which is very well bowled indeed, like some, and pushes out to where forward short leg would be. The keeper skips up from the answer stump to collect it, and there is no run. So
what do you make of the fact that the West Indies have made so many changes today?
Oh, okay, we'll get back to that after this delivery. So 1 to come in over number 7, 48 for 2. Williamson to continue. He settles, he waits. He's had 3 balls, he's not scored. Conway's 20. Here is Hossein. Last ball of the over comes in and bows to Williamson, who's onto the front foot, clips the ball away into the mid-wicket area for a single. The ball goes out towards that Smith, who comes across to his right to pick it up. So the over is a good one. In fact, the last over, there's 2 runs coming at the end of over number 7. New Zealand are 49 for 2, which is the latest score at Sabina Park.
I have to say, off that last ball there, Smith was at a fairly deep mid-wicket. I would be infuriated if I was the bowler to give away a single
I
for
agree.
that.
I agree.
Why was he so deep?
He was wondering, really.
You know, as Sir Andy Roberts said on Mason and Guest, it's all about limiting the number of runs. He was just too deep there, and I don't understand why. Like, there's guys out on the boundary, so why give away the simplest of singles to mid-wicket? He should have been in 3 or 4 yards closer, and, you know, okay, it's only 1 run, but 1 run could make a difference in the end. And I just think sometimes in these games, you see guys like just too far, that they're just too deep, and they give away runs. Like, why stand on the edge of the circle, right? I mean, you're not on the boundary. Why not come? So, like here, for example, we've got a mid-on who is literally on the edge of the circle. I just don't see the point in that. Kane Williamson's just come in. What, is he going to catch him there?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. In fact, that single should not have been had, and I suppose Williamson also recognised it was Smith, who's not the fastest. He's one of the, Jamaicans are known for speed, but he's certainly not fast. Here's a delivery from Smith. He's in, bowls to Williamson. Williamson is forward and drives smoothly down to that mid-on area. Shepherd comes across to make the stop. 49 for 2.
Having just said he was too deep, he just saved a single.
Yeah, he did. 49 for 2. It's been rather quiet by New Zealand. Williamson is on 1, and Conway is on 20, with Guptill and Sack, the batsman, to go back. Here is Smith from the southern, comes in and bowls the ball, which outside the off stump, and Conway, 4 runs! Down to wide third man. There might even a possibility of a catch, but that ball was hit with tremendous power by Williamson, with short outside the off stump, his eyes open wide, and he banged it square in the offside. The fielder, that's King, dived away to his left. The ball went behind him, down to wide third man. That's gone for 4.
Yeah, it was just wide of King there. He was at a backward point, and Williamson slapped that one away, and it went to King's left, and not that close to him. He dived away, but comfortably to the boundary for 4, and Williamson's off to a good start. Smith bowling short again, Andrew.
Yeah, he comes up now. He's in, bowls to Williamson. Williamson is down the pitch when he gets there, finds the gap between backward point and cover. The ball goes down to the cover boundary. Hetmar, who seems to own that position, down at cover. He took a brilliant catch in the first game, comes forward to collect it. The batsmen have time for 1, and it means now that the left-handed batsman, Conway, will do battle against Odean Smith, who's Jamaican, like the bread that we got yesterday from our friends at National. For every Jamaican moment, thanks to Mr. Alvin Clark and his wonderful team. In fact, they brought you some hard-dough bread. So yes, we're going to give you some hard-dough bread. You're going to take it back to Dubai. Here's the delivery, is on the line to the leg stump. Bowled by Smith, worked away by Conway down towards forward square. Was really going quickly for the first, then followed the second. In the end, decided against it. Score is kept in 55 for 2, with some 2 balls to come in over number 8. Are you enjoying the Jamaican food, Andy?
I am, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Trying lots of different
spicy
things. I actually went for Indian the other night.
Oh, Indian. It's lovely.
Know, they gave so much food. I took it home with me.
Okay.
It fed me for 3 days.
Oh, they did. Okay. You should have given Barry Wilkinson some. 55 for loss of 2. He likes Chinese. Of course, he also likes our bread from National. Bit down just behind Chelsea. We got our bread. Wonderful bread indeed. Here's the delivery, which is on the line to leg stump as Smith continues. Worked away by Williamson down towards that square leg area. Backwards square comes in very quickly to pick it out as watch. The batsmen have time for a single.
You'd have to say this is a pretty good start by the West Indies here,
indeed.
Andrew. Like, Conway's in great form. He's scored, I think, 47 and 42 or 46 and 42 in the first 2 games. Okay, he's going better than a runner ball here, but he's hardly dominating. So the West Indies have really up their bowling in this match.
Yep, and they should. Here's Smith, comes up now. He's in, bowls to Conway. Conway's driving up to cover. Good save by the fielder coming across his right to make the stop. That's Shamar Brooks having to move across to his right, picked it up, caught the arm and threatened to throw, but in the end held it. So we've completed over at number 8. 56 for 2 is the latest score at Sabina Park.
And I'm just looking out towards the party stand here, which is slightly different to what I was expecting.
What were you expecting?
Well, I actually thought it was in the George Headley stand, because it actually says, there's a plaque on the side of the wall saying party stand. I was like, that's pretty cool. And I must say, it's very, very strange. This is our third day here, of course. The George Headley stand is completely closed at the Michael Holding end. But off to our left here, I guess that's, well, it's on the side of the ground, next to the scoreboard. That Carrow party stand looks like plenty of people are going in there.
Yes.
And my mate Vaughan is in there.
Oh, your mate Vaughan is in there. I'm sure he's enjoying. I'm told by Dr. Mansing that there were 450 tickets sold. Wonder what's the price of a ticket. We'll certainly find out for you. But what I can tell people of a party, there's no doubt about that. Are you a party man, Andy?
Depends on the situation, but yeah, why not? Maybe we can call a few overs from the party
You reckon?
stand.
We'll do that. Here's the delivery as Walsh comes in the attack. First ball is outside the off stump. Williamson back looking to cut. The ball goes over the top of the bat. The leg break spun across him, taken by the keeper. That was very close to the outside edge. So good start for the man from Antigua and Barbuda. Hello to all of our friends on Point FM listening. I want to thank our friends at the Jamaica Pegasus as well, Kingston's Preferred Hotel, and CT.TV, certainly making sure that we are good. I think Barry Wilkinson has lined up another interview. Here's the delivery, which is on the line of the leg stump, bowled by Walsh on the back foot. Williamson just turns the ball neatly into the onside, down towards that mid-wicket position for a single. I want to thank our friends at Zen, of course, for taking the broadcast, going to
just on that, Andrew, for people around the world, they can actually either listen in New Zealand on the radio, or they can listen by the Sen app. Just change the location to New Zealand.
Oh, wonderful. So that's good news. 57 for 2. We're into over number 9. Here's Walsh. Comes in, both to Conway. Conway is getting the ball, which is going down the leg side. The keeper took it. The umpire said no. But immediately, Thomas goes upstairs and he reckons he's got his man. We shall see what happens here.
He looked totally convinced, Thomas, didn't he?
He went right upstairs.
Sweet shot, and it was fairly wide outside leg stump as well. So Thomas did extremely well to get across to that. Maybe he was just celebrating the fact that he made a good take. But
let's have a look at that on the monitor.
Here's the that's way outside leg stump.
Sweep.
Off the glove.
Oh, you think it's off the glove?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it looks that way to me. Here we go.
Change direction, Andrew.
It did. Here we go. So, here we go. Ultra edge. He's sweeping. Let's see. Is it going to come from the glove? I believe so. Yes, hits the glove, so he's gone. Yes. I mean, Thomas knew he had his man. So, umpire Dugan will have certainly to change that decision. On the evidence of what we've seen on the monitor, the ball came from the glove and went into the keeper's hands. So third wicket for the West Indies. Are you going to call it?
Well, yes. That's just an example of how difficult umpiring actually is. You know, like, it was well down the leg side. It would have been very hard for the umpire to pick up the change in direction. He wouldn't have heard any noise off the glove, but that doesn't matter now. Thomas made the right call to go to the DRS, and Conway's on his way for 21 off 17 balls. He didn't look at his best today, Devon Conway. I don't know, like maybe he had some dodgy chicken last night or something. It's hard to say, but nonetheless, yeah, as I alluded to 5 minutes or so ago, this is actually a very solid start for the West Indies. New Zealand 57 for 3 off 8.3 overs, and Walsh striking in his very first over, taking that wicket, caught down the leg side by the keeper, Devon Thomas. So one Devon dismisses another Devon. And by the way, I went to Devon House.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, what did you have there?
I just went for a walk around the grounds.
Oh, you didn't get their famous ice cream?
Do you know how long the queue for ice cream was?
Oh, well, tell us.
It was about 100 metres.
Oh, so it would have been from Kingston to Trelawney.
Pretty much,
oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I could not. That was actually on Sunday night, my first night here, because it's close to where I'm staying.
Okay.
I was shocked.
Shocked, yeah. Well, don't be shocked. It's famous. Yeah. Glenn Phillips, who wants to be famous. First match 17, second 76. Here we go. As Walsh comes in and bowls to him, Phillips, he's forward and drives the ball away into the offside, down to cover, reaching for it. Gets one, that's all there will be. As the return comes in from Hossein, who came off the boundary rather quickly in front of the party stand. I can see the Barbados flag We can see the Jamaica flag, the Trinidad flag. We even seen the St. Vincent flag as well. So they all represent it, and they're going to have a party. Here we go. Walsh has started beautifully here. He's just conceded, 4 runs. And in fact, just 2 runs actually. And has picked up a wicket already. 58 for 3. He comes in to bowl to Williamson. Williamson off the back foot. Drives the ball the way out to cover. Will he come back for the second? No, he won't. Good work by the field. And the ball goes right over the bails. Well done indeed by Hossein. But having to come across to his right. Recognizing that they were contemplating the second. Got the skids on. Picked it up. And in one action, the ball went right over the bails. Well done. Here we go. Last ball is about to be bowled. It's going to be bowled by Walsh. He's in and bowls to Phillips, and Phillips on the back foot. A beautiful delivery. Well bowled indeed on the leg stump, turned across the batsman, and he guides it out to cover to end a very good over, an over in which the 3 runs came. At the end of over number 9, New Zealand are 59 for 3, which is the latest score at Sabina Park.
And Andrew, isn't it interesting? I was very critical, well, not directly, but perhaps subliminally critical of the West Indies selection in the last match. I just, for the life of me, couldn't understand why they didn't play a second spinner. New Zealand brought in a third spinner because they'd seen on the evidence of the first match back on Wednesday that the wicket actually had something in it for the spinners. Santner was getting a lot of turn. And isn't it interesting? Three wickets down New Zealand, 59 for 3, all 3 wickets falling to spinners.
Yeah, interesting. And in fact, we heard the captain saying that he has difficulty in playing Hossein and Walsh in the same 11.
Maybe the captain got dropped for that comment.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe it. And in fact, the last game New Zealand played 3. Here's Shepherd back, the big man from Berbice. He's in bowls outside the off stump, and there's Williamson. I think might have been slightly undone by the generous bounce that was offered there, and stabbed it with some difficulty down to backward point. There's no run. 59 for 3. Into over number 10. The rate is 6.44. These have done well. Williamson is going to do battle. He's got 9 from 12. Phillips has got 1 from 2. And Shepherd looking to keep the pressure on. Operating from the southern end. Comes up now and bowls to Williamson. Williamson is onto the front foot. Good tight delivery on the off stump. Can't put it away. And he prods it up towards, but off the bowler comes across to pick it up. And that would have brought a cheer from the crowd. The big George Headley stand is, well, I mean, the private boxes are open. Just a couple of spectators, and they took a decision not to open that stand. Of course, the north stand, we are on the 3rd floor here doing the commentaries. We've got a good view. We're looking over the keeper's head, so we can actually give the batsman out leg before from here. 59 for 3, over number 10. Shepherd comes in, bowls to Williamson on the leg stump, worked away. Wide of mid-on for 1. Mid-on fielder comes across the captain to pick it up. That's Powell as captain of the side. No Poran today. 60 for 3. It's a different New Zealand side today. We're not seeing the helter-skelter that we saw in the first 2 matches. Can you explain this?
Well, they tried to do it with Santner, didn't they? But
no,
it didn't really come off. But I was just going to say, this is another important innings for Kane Williamson. He was dismissed by McCoy, caught by Thomas for 4 the other day. Had a lovely cover drive and then just played like an absolute nothing shot to get caught behind. So he's off to a better start.
Shepherd comes up now, bowls to Phillips. Phillips beaten outside the off stump. Good delivery. And that ball took off. It was bowled with a bit of pace as well. He played at it. And the ball whizzed past the outside edge to be taken by the keeper. The projected score at 6.21 is 124. That would be a bit low.
I've got a question for you, Andrew.
Yep.
Why do they drop McCoy?
I don't know.
I mean, I get playing Joseph, but why drop McCoy?
I like McCoy. I think he's a wonderful cricketer.
He's a great player.
60 for 3. 2 balls left and over number 10. Here's Shepherd, all arms and legs. Comes up now, bowls to Phillips. And this delivery, Phillips is covering up to a ball which is outside land. The outside man guides it down to backward point. Can't score. So this is a very good over indeed. That was bowled at 138. And in fact, the batsman got a delivery that bounced on him and he guided it square. Now can Shepherd finish strong? The captain has gone all the way to talk to him and just saying to him, look, I want you to finish strongly here, because he's actually only conceded 1 run in the over. This is over number 10. 60 for 3. Comes in and bowls off the back foot, edge down to third man, 4 runs.
Oh, that's unlucky, isn't it?
Outside the off stump. And was it a deliberate shot? We'll just maybe never know. but it was outside the off stump. The third man is wide. The ball went fine. That's gone for 4. So still 5 from the over. The last ball producing a boundary at the end of over number 10, halfway stage. Williamson is on 10. Phillips has got 5. 64 for 3 is the latest score at Sabina Park.
Yeah, 64 for 3 represents a very, very impressive start by the West Indies. You just get the feeling that they're totally up for this match, and maybe making 4 changes makes it different to the side, makes a difference to their mentality. Dare I say it, even a change of captaincy could be relevant, but they've looked really solid, and as I just mentioned a moment ago, very interesting that the spinners, Hussain and Walsh, have done a very good job early on, taking 3 wickets. Guptill bowled Hussain for 15, Conway caught Thomas, bowled Walsh for 21, and Santner caught Powell, bowled Hussain for 13. And now it's a bit of a repair job for Kane Williamson, who's on 10 at the moment, and Glenn Phillips, who's joined him, who's in great form, it must be said, after that amazing innings he played the other day, 76. Had a pretty good chance to get to 100 actually before he holed out, but yeah, if I was the West Indies management right now and the captain and the players, I'd be very, very happy with this performance. I mean, probably New Zealand will accelerate, but 3 wickets down, they've got batting to come. They've got Mitchell and Neesham and Bracewell, so 3 very good batsmen to come, but you just get the feeling that maybe at 1 or 2 more wickets could really, really change the direction of this game. And having said that, though, of course, Doc, no better man for a crisis than Kane Williamson.
Indeed, yes. In fact, he's only scored 15 off 14 balls or something like that. So he's not going great guns, and he never does at the start of his innings. But he's obviously the person that New Zealand will be looking for. And as you quite rightly said, a few quick wickets for the West Indies, and they're really into this game. I think they will still rue that drop catch by Odin Smith, because the momentum was with the West Indies, the fielding was immaculate, everything looked good, and I think you just saw the shoulders drop, especially of what's called Harry Joseph was the bowler. You saw the shoulder drop a bit, but then Akil Hussain comes the next over, takes a wicket, and just repairs everything. So I quite rightly agree with you that I think the balance, you'd have to say this session is that of the West Indies, but the run rate is still 6.4. That's not very high, especially with power play behind you.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
pretty good.
You look at some of these economy rates. Drake's 3.5, Hussain 6.5, Hayden Walsh 3. You know, the economy rates are very good, and I think it just maybe the pitch is a little bit more tired today. I think this is the 3rd match in a row we've played on the same strip. But can I ask you, why on earth do they not play Hussain in the first 2 games?
Hard to say, because I don't think there was an injury issue, so I think it can only be a matter of rest, which makes no sense because it was the start of a new series. So that was surprising. Hayden Walsh coming into bowl this first ball right now, starting from the northern end, that ball given air and rightfully driven, and probably driven for 4 straight through the gap. At a wide-ish long off position, and a good start by New Zealand there. Kane Williamson just pumping Phillips's hand as he walks through. Phillips reaching the pitch of the ball, giving far too much air, but it was the positioning of that shot straight between that wide cover, a deep cover, and the long on. And so New Zealand start very positively with 4 runs. Barry Wilkinson.
Yeah, good start there for the Kiwis, and I think Hayden Walsh Jr. has just got to be careful because he's on the radar for some rest as he comes in again down balls. This delivery is a good one, a googly one that came back into the batsman. He played it defensively into the offside, and there's no run. That's a very good line, good length there from Hayden Walsh Jr.
Is that the new word, rest?
Well, obviously the captain took some rest today,
so he wasn't dropped, he was rested.
I'm assuming. If not, we have to find a new captain for the T20 team.
No, I'm just being facetious here, but of course a lot of these players playing for their place in the team. Hayden Walsh no less.
68 for 3 and over number 11. Here he comes in, and balls. This one is driven into the mid-wicket area. Williamson getting a 1. Yeah, that's all he'll get. 69 then for 3. The run rate has been kept checked, 6.63.
I want to just point out there that difference in Williamson and other batsmen. He came down to the pitch and didn't quite reach it. Instead of going through with the shot, playing it in the air, he just turned his wrist, closed the bat, and took a single to mid-wicket. The West Indian batsmen, which in situations like that, try to hit the ball over the fielder and very often get caught at the boundary. Williamson just deciding that he had been beaten in the flight, and therefore he just played on the ground and take the single. Good batting here by one of the best in the game.
Here comes Walsh now, in again, and balls to Phillips, and Phillips gets the one that's short and cut away. That's a lovely shot into the gap. gap. That's going to go into the boundary for 4. The thing about that shot, not only was it short and wide, but there's no one in the backward point area on the boundary. You've got a sweeper. So once it had passed Brandon King, who was at that standard backward point position, there was no way that the fielder there in the outfield, it looks to be, who was that? Akil Hussain? Whoever the fielder is out there is not going to have a chance to get that ball.
Ball very short and wide. He could have put it anywhere.
Here he comes in again and bowls to Phillips. And Phillips gets one short again and wide. This time it's going to go out to the sweeper. That is Akil Hussain, the little left-hander from Trinidad and Tobago. And the throw just above the stumps. And there is just 1 run. 74 then for 3. Williamson is on 15. He's on strike. 15 from 17. Phillips has got 10 from 7.
10 runs off the over so far with that last ball. Often the fatal last ball for the bowlers, as they tend to be very loose with it, about to come.
Here he comes in again now and bowls to Williamson. Williamson gets one that's short, cracked away, out to the sweeper again. Will they get 2? Yes, they're going to come back for the second. He misfields it. It's going to go into the boundary. Well, he pulls it back just in time, but they'll get 3. That should have only been a single. The midfield allowing for a couple more runs. 77 for 3, the latest score after 11. Williamson 18. Phillips has got 10.
Rare misfield there by Akil Hussain, as that ball was only supposed to get 1 on it, ended up getting 3. What's that, 13 off that last over there, 677 for 3. So not a very good start there by Hayden Walsh Jr., not just because of the misfield, but because of the fact that his bowling was not as immaculate as in the first over, even though the wicket he got was from one of the loosest deliveries I've ever saw. Now, Barry, you keep talking about the heat here at Savannah Park over the last few days, but yesterday there was a torrential downpour,
yes,
and the pitch was uncovered. It was soaked for the whole of the morning yesterday. Of course, there was a lot of sunshine there. I'm not too sure, but I know people who are on the ground who saw the entire place being wet. I don't think it's made a major difference, but what it has done is put a bit more moisture into the ground, and you see the ball turning a bit more. Now, if Hayden Walsh can do that, imagine what the New Zealand spinners.
There's no Puran today, so that single allowing the total now to
a bit short, so Phillips was on the back foot, covered the stumps, covered your vision as well, and cut off the pitch. It really looked like it had almost taken the edge.
Here he comes in again and bowls, and this delivery is driven in the air out to Hetmeyer, who's there marshalling troops in the sweeper position. Just 1 run, and that single will take the total now to 83 for 3.
Indeed, yes, and it's the fluency of Phillips, Glenn Phillips, is what really pleases one when they watch him batting. He's just always on the go, fluent movements of his body, fluent stroke play. He looks like he's just in control when he's batting, and his temperament is so cool that you never feel that anything is phasing him. We've seen this frequently in the CPL, we're seeing it now in international cricket.
Here he comes in again now and bowls, and this delivery is undriven. Just gets 1.
Not sure if that was undriven or undriven, because he didn't quite get hold of it.
Yeah, that's true. But the single nevertheless. And it's 84 for 3. Phillips 15. Williamson's got 20. He's got a strike rate of 100. 20 from 20. Phillips 15 from 10. The run rate 7.10 is kept in check, but we've seen how the Kiwis cut loose in the last 5 overs.
Well, it was 6.4 at the end of 10, so they've actually raised it in the last 3 overs already.
Odin Smith in his last ball of his second over. He's bowled none for 14. This delivery is on the line of the off stump, tucked away down to the backward point area for 1. 12 overs gone. The latest score then here at Sabina Park. It's New Zealand winning the toss and batting 85 for 3.
7.08 is the run rate at this point at the end of 12 overs. So as we said, they've carried it up marginally. But that last ball by Smith was the ball that he's consistently bowled in his last 3 spells, and has kept the batsman in check, and that was just a bit further up to the batsman but into their body. So we see good control bowling by the West Indians by and large. Hayden Walsh Jr. being a bit expensive, and is it Akil Hussain who's now going to be brought back to try and check it a bit. Now Akil Hussain, certainly the top spinner if not the top bowler in this attack, has taken 2 wickets already, and they're obviously going to have to think whether they're going to bowl his last 2 before the death, or whether they're going to keep 1 for the death. I reckon they're going to bowl it before, because he's not usually one you see in the last 3 overs.
So Hussein has got 2 for 13 from 2. 12 overs gone. I think you're right. They'll just squeeze in one here to see if he can pick up a wicket. Left arm spinner to the right-handed batsman Phillips as he comes in now and bowls to Phillips. And Phillips gets one on the line of the middle stump. Very well bowled. Tucked into the short mid-wicket area. It forces the bowler to field his own bowling, but he can't stop the singles. Now 87 for 3.
Feel quite spread out here. So once the New Zealanders make contact, they're guaranteed a single. Akil Hussain actually running all the way to that circle that demarcates the ring around the batsman, running all that way, and therefore the single quite easily taken. Everybody else is on the boundary on the onside except for a short leg.
So Hussain now, left arm spinner. Comes in and bowls, and this time Williamson is again getting another good delivery on the down the middle stump. Forced for a single into the offside, and there's just one.
So you see 6 runs in the making here, because every time they touch the ball, they are going to get a run. But at the same point, I think the West Indies feel that 6 runs and over perhaps is fair going right now. I'd have preferred to see a little bit more aggression here, because he has gotten 2 for 12, now 2 for 15 before this over, and looks to be the best bowler you've got.
Here he comes in again. Delivery on the line of the leg stump, turned into the onside. One, they'll come back for the second. No, just one run.
And once again, that ball trickling to the ring, and you had somebody from the boundary, that's Hetmeyer, coming all the way in. Don't be surprised if the New Zealand decide that they're going to take 2 the next time around, because there's so much time. The fielder has to make so much way coming in that you just feel if they had another fielder there at mid-wicket, a traditional mid-wicket, they could probably stop that flow of runs.
Hussain back with it again as he comes in now and bowls to Williamson, and Williamson comes down the pitch and is again checking the shot. Perhaps a more agile fielder there. Brandon King is the man there, but a more agile fielder, he might have challenged him for a run out when he gets a single.
New Zealand is judging their singles so well. They've just done this throughout the series.
He would have taken that chance if Jonty Rhodes was there.
Well, I tell you, they've taken a chance today too, because we'd seen where Guptill should have been run out by a direct hit. We'd seen another one which Devon Thomas missed. And I think they're just testing the fielders now, perhaps because the pressure's off of the New Zealand team in general.
Here comes Hussain now. Into both to Phillips. And Phillips is sending this in the air, out to no man's land. He's going to fall short of the sweeper. That's Hayden Walsh Jr. They'll get another run. They're operating in singles, but 6 runs per over will only bring you 120 in a T20 International. So they won't mind that. The singles they won't mind at this particular stage.
Well, that's so long as you can sustain 6 singles. The point is the West Indies so often will give you 5 singles, and the last one goes for 6 and end up with 11 off the over. So
you're right. Let's see. There's 1 ball left. Can they keep this to a dot ball or just 1? Here comes Hussain now and bowls to Williamson. And Williamson this time is getting one that's again on the line of the all-stop. He doesn't get nothing. Straight to cover. Fantastic over. Well done, Akil Hussain. 90 for 3, the latest score after 13. Williamson 22. Phillips has got 19.
And here's a big question now. 3 overs, 2 for 18. Akil Hussain. Do you bowl him out or do you keep him back? And I'd be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing him bowl again, because if he gets that wicket, it puts more pressure on New Zealand. If he keeps it tight, it adds to the pressure as well. I don't think there's very much to be added at the death. The other bowlers are bowling well. I'd actually bowl him out at this point.
Sometimes you do say, well, look, you don't know what there is to come, so you're holding back, not knowing what will happen. Perhaps they should just go for the jugular.
They're both 6 bowlers. They do have an excess of bowlers. Hayden Walsh, 2 overs, 1 for 16 has been expensive. Romario Shepherd, 2 overs, none for 18, going at 9 runs and over. And Alzari Josephs going for 8 as well. But by and large, everybody, including them, have been better than they have in the last two matches.
Joseph should have really had a wicket, because he had Satner hitting the ball in the air. It was dropped by Odin Smith. Should have really taken it. So he's unfortunate. Alright, however, here he is now. Comes in and bowls to Phillips, and Phillips tails away and plays the ball out to this very firm sweeper area. And there is just 1 run. So 1 run to take the total now to 91 for 3. This is good cricket from the West Indies.
If you ask me who one of the most improved fast bowlers is in West Indian cricket in the last 2 years or so, I'd have to say Alzarri Joseph. I think he's really come along with his cricket. He was out of the scene for a while, especially at the limited overs level, definitely at the T20 level, but he looks like he's come back with purpose because he's in all formats of the game, bowling far more disciplined, trying to not concentrate on pace but more on control. And even that last ball was on a good length, just on the off stump or outside off stump, and cramped up Williamson just a wee bit, Phillips just a wee bit. Went for the single, yes, but I thought it was a very good ball, and he's bowled pretty well and tidily throughout his T20, which this is his sixth match. His 6 matches are certainly the last 4 matches in T20 that he's bowled in.
Yeah, you're right. You're very right. 91 for 3. Williamson 22. Phillips has got 20. They're still making a lot of changes around. As Joseph now comes in and bowls to Williamson, who tails away and is hitting this in the air. This is a chance for a catch. Who wants it? Catch dropped. Well, I have to really put some pressure on Akil Hussain there for that. At the he was on the fine leg boundary, but he ran into a very backward square position. And the reason why I'm going to say that he should have taken that is because he called quite early. He actually stopped Shamar Brooks from challenging him to take that catch, and he said, "Mine." And he got there, yeah, rightly so. He got there, and then he dived at the last minute and dropped it.
So the good feeling that we've been speaking of has been undone in this innings because it's the catches in the end that take the match.
And poor Alzarri Joseph is the bowler again.
Yet again.
He should have had 2.
Too simple. I mean, all catches are difficult, but that was something that he really had to reach. It was in his line. He wasn't running away from it. Should have taken it.
Joseph now in again and bowls to Phillips. And Phillips is pulling this out into the mid-wicket area. That's going to go for 4 into the gap. Now, you see, pressure really does a lot for cricket, because the pressure that we just saw was because of that mistimed shot that went in the air. They kept the pressure on the batsman, and then the pressure is released by the drop catch. And what follows the drop catch? 4 runs.
And that's the second time running, because the last time a catch was dropped off for Alzarri Joseph, he went for 4 as well.
That's right. You got to take the catches, guys. Well, 96 for 3. Here comes Joseph in again and bowls to that's a little cheeky shot. A reverse scoop for 6. Glenn Phillips got into position quite early, and he was shaping for the reverse scoop. He got it successfully, and that was a mighty 6 as well. That was not even nearly a 6. It was a big 6.
That's the best deal scoop, as it's called, I've seen, because he was in position that was right on his body, and he really paddled it with a lot of force, as you're saying, for 6. Alzarri Joseph must be deflated. Should have had this man out 10 runs ago, but instead he's been hit for 4 and then a deal scoop.
Here comes Joseph now, and again in bowls to Phillips. And Phillips this time is heading this one down to third man. Odin Smith is there, just 1 run. But 100 now and 4 for 3 after over number 30.5 overs gone.
The run rate continues to climb there. But Dilshan of Sri Lanka is the one who is credited with this, and hence the Dil scoop. Very difficult, because you've got to get yourself in position. You've got to expose your face and body as well, because if you miss that, it's going to take you out. But it was played to perfection. Something that is practiced by the players.
Will he try it again in this over? 103 for 3. Here he comes in and bowls, and this time he's pulling straight to the field at mid-wicket on the boundary. Just 1. So he'll keep the strike. 14 overs gone, 104 for 3. The latest score here at Sabina Park. 14
runs coming off that over, and you feel that Alzarri Joseph just felt completely deflated after that drop catch. Something that perhaps is human, because as a professional, you wouldn't expect that to happen. But once that ball was dropped, you saw Alzarri Joseph fall apart, and 12 runs came off his over. And now he's walking to the boundary very, very upset. You can see him screaming, shouting, punching the air. He is not pleased at all, and so he should be. These are catches that should have been taken with ease. They've been dropped, and Alzarri Joseph is very, very sore. In fact, he's 1 over to go. I would not bowl him anytime soon, because he is not happy at all. Now, if they continue at this rate, 149 is what New Zealand's going to end up at. But if they score 12 runs and over, that's going to be 176. Even if they keep it at 12 runs and over, 176 on this pitch is quite doable. Whether it's doable for the West Indies batting attack is a different story, but there is Brandon King in there to strengthen it.
Here comes Drakes now, as he comes in and bowls to Williamson, who's looking to pull a short ball, misses it, taken by the keeper, dot ball.
The other thing I have to point out, there haven't been many wides, if any at all. I'm trying to remember. I don't think there have been any wides, which is a very disciplined display by the West Indies. Usually there are quite a few wides by this time in the innings. But that ball, once again, a good line, took the pace completely off of it. And Dominic Drakes, to me, has been one of the pick of the bowlers. 0 for 7 off 2.1 overs.
Here he comes in again. Dominic Drakes to bowl to Williamson, who's got 24. And Williamson comes down the pitch and smacks it in the air and is out caught at extra cover. Pressure makes a man sweat. And that's what just happened there to Kane Williamson. A short delivery, he cut it in the air, straight to the fielder there. That's Shamar Brooks, it looks like. Akil Hussain, actually, who dropped one earlier, takes the catch. And that's a wicket for the Windies. They needed that. They really needed that, and they've got it.
Barry, as you say, pressure does that, and the bowlers have bowled extremely well. If anyone deserved a wicket out there, it is Alzarri Joseph, but as Drakes took it, Drakes, as we said, bowling so well now, has 1 for 7 off 2.2. That ball had a bit more bounce on it. It was short. You could see that Williamson was trying to force it, but the bounce is what made him play it in the air. This time going straight to Alzarri Joseph. He didn't have to run for it, and he took it quite comfortably. So good bowling here by Dominic Drakes, but once again, Alzarri Joseph, you just feel for him, don't you?
Yes, quite unfortunate. Just wasn't his day. He still has an over left, I believe. The new batsman is Mitchell. We've seen what he can do. He's quite dangerous. Let's see if he's going to get away today.
The question really is it that the bowling is much better, or is it that the pressure is not on the New Zealanders? I believe it's the former. I think the bowlers have really acquitted themselves very well.
35 matches, 643 runs, averages 26. He's got 2 half centuries. So he's indeed a pretty good T20 cricketer. Nothing like the Ginger Ninja, who's now the leading T20 international cricketer run-wise.
Yes, a good strike rate there of 144 with a good average. And so, whereas we're looking at the all-time run getters, we're looking at averages, and the West Indians not featuring there. The West Indians do feature with strike rate, but unfortunately, if you're not there long enough, a strike rate doesn't matter too much. What we're seeing here is somebody with an average in the 40s and a good strike rate. That's what makes a good T20 cricketer.
So, there was Mitchell, like if he was taking the knee. I almost thought he decided to take a late knee for a minute because he was on his knee for so long. 104 for 4. He's about to face his first delivery. Here comes the left arm pace of Dominic Drakes now and bowls to Mitchell. And Mitchell gets the delivery that's outside line, the off stump, steers it to the short third man. There's no run. This is really good cricket from Dominic Drakes. He's looked impressive today. He has made very little error. He's bowled 2 overs and 3 balls. And he's got 1 for 7, Dominic Drakes.
Indeed, yes, and deserving of that too. He's been bowling a consistent length and a very good line. And I say consistent length because he is pitching the odd one short, but that's deliberate. And that's the difference between him and perhaps an Odin Smith, who sometimes does it inadvertently.
Here he comes in now and bowls to Mitchell. And Mitchell gets the delivery, that short turn behind square. Should get 1. They might push for the second. No, they won't. Would have been suicidal. Odin Smith is there and quite quickly as well throws it back in. 1 run, 105 for 4 with 2 balls left in the 15th over.
We heard that there were 450 tickets sold for the party stand, but the party stand not full at all. I don't know if people are turned off by the performance on Friday. I don't know if people are turned off by the sun. I can tell you some people have taken evasive action as of Friday because Sheldon Cottrell's Range Rover is in a protective position now as opposed to one which was vulnerable to the sixes that rained on Friday afternoon.
Could be that no one likes to see that baby blue and it shines too bright. But no, there's still a lot of people in the party stand. It's just I think they're under the scoreboard. Indeed. It's really hot. Who would actually go and party in that sun? They've got to be
dogs
crazy.
and Englishmen.
No, they've got to be crazy. Here comes Drakes now and bowls to Phillips, and Phillips gets one as wide of the off stump and drives straight to Akil Hussain at cover along the ground, and there is no run. I'm sweating in the air condition. Do you know what it's like out there in that sun?
It is. In fact, when I was driving, it was only 32 on the thermometer, but I tell you, it's much hotter than that because of the humidity. Now, we said there's been a Saharan dust that has enveloped Jamaica. There was such a downpour yesterday. That's been cleared off. And so you've got direct sun rays, and it's very, very hot out there, in spite of whatever the temperature per se is. That heat index is far, far higher. The All Blacks, of course, because they're wearing that, but their clothing is very special and is actually very cool.
Here he comes in down balls, and this delivery short and pulled, but he cuffed that. He didn't time it at all. It's gone down behind square, and they'll just get a single. The over ends. 15 overs gone. It's the Kiwis choosing to bat first. 106 for 4. Phillips 32. Mitchell has got 1. Andy McLean, and then it's going to be Andrew Mason. I want to say a special hello to Victor McFarlane, who's here in the box with us. He's the original technician of the network. One of the best in the business worldwide, pure class, and I'm happy to have him in the box, along with another man who's also pure class. They've really done a good job technically. Andrew Mason is back with us. Everyone seems happy in Kingston since his arrival. I don't know why. Perhaps he was bringing good tidings. Should I say hello to anyone in St. Lucia, Andrew? Yes, okay.
Reg Pereira. Wow, that's a name I haven't heard for a while.
Good old Reg Pereira. All right, so what do you make of this now in terms of the score? 106 for 415 gone. Talk to me, Andy.
I just feel I feel like this is a great move to bring Akil Hussain back into the to bring him back into the attack now. Another wicket here is crucial, and he'll be feeling pretty good about himself having taken that catch to dismiss Kane Williamson, having dropped one the over before, but here he comes now.
He comes in to bowl to Phillips, and to this delivery, Phillips is on the back foot deep in his crease, whips the ball down to backward square for one. That's all he'll get. He really went very quickly for the first, but good work by Walsh coming off the boundary, and they get a run. But this has been good stuff by the West Indies today. No bad bowling. They've kept things very quiet here, and it's going to be interesting to see where New Zealand ends up eventually. But at the moment, West Indies will be quite happy. And I must admit that having seen Paul, he's led the side well in his manipulations. 107 for the loss of 4. Here's Hussain, comes in, bowls to Mitchell. Mitchell is forward, turns the ball away from that leg stump for a single. Out towards that wicket area, the bowler goes after it. And the score goes to 108 for 4. Hello to all of our listeners wherever you are on Omega Radio. It's been changed. I know it is KLS, but of course there's a change now. Lots of gospel music being played on that radio station, and cricket as well. So good combination of gospel music and cricket. Here we go as Hussain comes in and bowls to Phillips, and Phillips is swinging the ball away. That's gone for 6. What a shot over backward square. That was it with tremendous power. That's almost gone up by the Norman Manley International. Oh, a ball pitched outside the line. The leg stub, he went after that. Hit it with a lot of power. That's gone for 6. And you never know. Haven't seen it on the march. It was a rank hot and was put away by the batsman. And I would imagine that when we look at the distance, what's it now? Is that what, 74 meters?
Yeah.
But he hit it very hard indeed to carry the score to 114 for 4. And with that, Phillips goes to 39 from 22 balls. We're into over number 16.
I was just going to say that's kind of ruined Hussain's figures, but he shouldn't be too disheartened about that. He's 2 for 26 now, but going into his last over. But he's actually bowled really well. That one was just a little bit short, and Phillips swiveled and then just pulled that one away over kind of long leg, and sailed into the stand for 6, into the Courtney Walsh stand. But Phillips, you feel like he's only just got out there, but he's already on 39 off 22. So he's really helped New Zealand boost this run rate, which is up to 7.35 now. Just a reminder, of course, for people that are tuning in today, New Zealand's actually won this series already. It's 2-0. This is the third match of the T20 series here at Sabina Park, and next week we move to Barbados.
Oh, Barbados, yes.
We go to Bridgetown, Andrew, for the one-dayers.
Yeah, indeed. I'm looking forward to that. And of course,
where are you taking me for dinner?
Well, what we're going to do, I'm going to speak to Barry Wilkinson, and he'll tell me. But we gotta. There's some places you certainly would have to go. There's no doubt about that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to the beach.
Kingston, lovely beaches in
Kingston,
Barbados.
You don't really have the beaches.
No, you have to go to Negril or to Ocho Rios. Here is a delivery bowled by, of course, that's Hussain, who knows about Maracas Bay, where you get the shark and bake, or bake and shark. It depends on which part of the world you are. Interesting that in some countries there's rice and stew, and in other countries is, of course, the stew and the rice. Peas and rice and peas. Of course, in Trinidad and Tobago, it's bake and shark, or shark and bake, 115 for 4. Here is a man from the land of Calypso, Hussain. He's in and bowls, a ball swept away. That's a reverse shot, a ball that was outside the line, the leg stump, and he got it away. That's Mitchell down towards that short third man position, but he can't score. More backward point.
I never understand why they play that shot. There's a massive gap on the leg side.
And you could have found that gap. Hussain again, last ball of over number 15, comes in to bowl to Mitchell, and Mitchell is down the pitch when he gets there, works the ball away up towards that position of long on for 1. All they'll get is a single. Is very alert is the big man from Berbice coming forward to collect that Ramari Shepherd. So at the end of Hussain's spell, picking up 2 for 28 from his 4, he'll be happy with that. The last 10 runs came from the last over he bowled, but overall he would be happy. 116 for 4 is the latest score at Sabina Park.
So just going back 2 balls ago, Andrew, so Daryl Mitchell tried to play a reverse sweep, or did play a reverse sweep, but there was 2 men. There was a backward point and a short third man, and he hit it directly to the fielder. Okay, so you could argue he's trying to get a boundary, because if he gets it past them, it goes to for 4. But I don't. Why doesn't he just play like a little paddle sweep rather than a full-blooded reverse sweep? Because if he just played a paddle sweep, it would have gone straight, much finer and down to the boundary for 4. But now I guess I'm, nitpicking slightly. But yeah, 116 for 4 overs to go. West Indies are got to be very happy with this. And
well, so far, because you never know. Let's see what happens. Smith back in the attack to start over number 17. Comes in, bowls to Mitchell outside the off-stump, driven down towards the long off, and the field of fumbles. They'll get what will be the second return. Comes in, and it's the captain, but he's a much better cricketer than that. Powell came off the long off boundary, missed it, and they came back for the second. He's an angry man. He should lead by example, the captain. He fumbled, and in that situation, an extra run came. He's got to be careful. He's at long off. It's gone to 118 for 2. Mitchell got 2. He's gone to 5. Smith again over number 17. Comes in and bowls, pitched up and driven, dragged away up towards that long on area for a single. A ball that was dragged away. Joseph, the big man from Antigua, comes across to pick it up. There is a run, 119 for 4. Let me take the opportunity to say hello to Sir Andy Roberts. I spoke to him yesterday. A good friend of mine, Sir Andy, and one who was always interested in what's happening in West Indies cricket. And sometimes
very wise man.
Oh yes, very wise man indeed.
I love that interview you did with him on Mason and Guest. So interesting.
Very interesting indeed. 119 for 4. 4 to coming over number 17. Phillips 40 comes in this right. And he will want to increase this rate. It's now 7.29. And Phillips is batting pretty well. He's got 40. Here's Smith in bowls him. He drives outside the off stump. The ball goes by to be taken by the keeper. Not often that you see a dot at this stage pitched up. He launches that big booming drive. The ball went past the outside edge, taken by the keeper. And there's a lovely cheer from the folks at the ground.
It's interesting, isn't it? We had a 180 on the first match,
right, and then 215,
and then 215. So the scores are going up. So you think maybe the pitch has flattened out, but I just wonder if it's got a bit slower actually.
Well, interesting. Now it's going to be Smith to go round the wicket. He's going to bowl to Phillips, who's got 40. Mitchell is on 6. In he comes round the wicket. He's in and bowls outside the off stump, hit into the pitch. Doesn't time it at all. That Phillips goes bunks down to cover, and the ball is picked up by Dominic Drakes. Of course, his father's Vasper Drakes.
Really?
So both of them, yeah, that's Vasper Drakes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Vasper Drakes, his son Dominic Drakes, a good old man. He's now the head coach of the Barbados side. And hello to good old Vasper Drakes.
He's a good player too.
Oh, very good player indeed. Wonderful cricketer. Here is Smith round the wicket, comes in. Goes past the umpire, he's in, and bowls wide outside the off stump. The batsman chased it, that's Mitchell, and bangs it down to that backward point position. Will get a single. I rather suspect had he left
fell
that.
Over then.
Yeah, I think that might have been called a wide, but he really went after that and stretching out and got his back to it. The ball went square in the offside for 1. So Smith is on 7. Make that Mitchell is 7. Phillips is 41. It's 121 for 4.
If he'd reached any further, I think he would have got an injury.
Yeah, in fact, just 5 runs from the over now. So this is going to be a big ball. Can Smith be good as he comes in and bowls to Phillips? And Phillips is looking to play the ball. The catch is taken. A scoop. Well, they like that shot. It goes inside the circle. The catch is taken by Smith. And Smith strikes again in his own backyard at Sabina Park with just 5 runs coming from the over. And importantly, getting the dangerous Phillips. The West Indies are cooking good looking at Sabina Park.
Yeah, well, that was just possibly a little bit too full. Phillips tried to play the scoop shot, but there was just not enough elevation on it. That's a reverse scoop, and Brandon King took a very comfortable catch in the end, just on the edge of the 30-metre circle. But yeah, 41 runs for Phillips off 26 balls. Pretty impressive again. That brings Jimmy Neesham to the crease, who looked a bit off the other day. He was brilliant in the first match with the bat, but in the second match he never really got going, and he doesn't really have much time to prepare himself. There's only 3 overs to go, but this is kind of tailor-made for Neesham. But I guess the other thing New Zealand's going to be thinking about here is what's actually a good score, because they're a mile off where they were on Friday, 121 for 5, and of course they made well over 200 on Friday. So maybe 150 is a good score today. That wicket must be playing slower, Andrew.
Yep. Well, we'll certainly get an analysis from Dr. Mansing when he comes to calling. But what has happened is that they've done very well. Generally, the line has been good. The captaincy, I think, has been good as well. Good manipulations by our good friend, Mr. Paul, who's taken over. In the meantime, it's Mitchell who's doing battle. First ball of over number 18, bowled by Joseph, is turned away down to backward square for a single. Walsh comes off the boundary, files the return in, and just a run. So we're down into the happy hour now. I want to thank our friends at the Jamaica Pegasus, of course, national, for every Jamaican moment. Wonderful bread. Thanks to you, Mr. Clark, for ensuring that the commentary team is well fed. And of course, we want to thank csport.tv, who are very much a partner of ours. I think Barry Wilkinson has got an interview lined up. Of course, you want to watch all the games. I stopped watching yesterday with Man United, my side being hammered by Brentford 4-0.
Yeah, they're playing well at the moment,
my golly. The bottom. Can you believe that? Good old Man United.
Ten Hag is the first manager to lose his first 2 matches as a manager of Man United.
Can you imagine that? Do you think he's going to hang on to his job? Here we go. As it's going to be Joseph comes in and bowls. Neesham is back to a good tight delivery in the line of the off stump. Stares it to gully. Just a single. 123 for 5. Over number 18 being bowled. The West Indies won't want to give up too many boundaries here. The rate is 7.10. We're into over number 18. Mitchell has got 8. Neesham is on 1. 123 for 5 represents a pretty good position for the West Indies side. Let me remind you that New Zealand won the toss and they chose to bat. So, are we going to have a very tight battle? Are we going to have West Indies winning? We shall see. What we do know is that Joseph is operating from the southern end. Comes up now to bowl to Mitchell. This delivery, he's looking to paddle the ball away. Hits the pad and looking to be too cute. And it goes down the leg side, taken by the keeper. And not a run scored.
What sort of
it means it's 123 for 5 with 3 to come in over number 18.
What sort of shot was that?
Tell me, you're the expert.
I mean, look at the acres of space in front of the wicket, right?
Oh my golly.
There's just the whole offside is open. We've got an extra cover and we've got a short third man. The leg side is fully open. We've got a short fine leg. And he tries to play some cute shot. I just don't understand it. Just put bat to ball, hit straight.
123 for 5. In he comes, up to the wicket and bowls. Ball pitched up and driven. When we're dragged really down towards that backward square position for one. A delivery that was pitched up and came from the bottom of the bat, really. It's not the shot they'd invite the schoolboy to see, really. But that's all part of T20 cricket. And it goes away down to that square leg area for 1. 124 for 5. Mitchell is a 9. Neesham has got 1. With 2 to come in over number 18. What kind of score do you think they're looking for? 150?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm just thinking also, I don't think Romario Shepherd's going to have to bowl at the death here, which is a plus for the West Indies.
Here's Joseph. Comes in now to Neesham into this delivery. Outside the off stump. Steers it down to backward point. Wide third man. Just a single. I think they recognize they're not going to get 180 here. So it makes sense to just work the ball around. With 1 to come in over number 18 and try to maybe get to 150 and try to defend that. But at the moment, Drake's 2 overs, 3 overs, no middles, 1 for 9. Joseph, last ball, none for 34. Hossein, 4 overs, no middles, 2 for 28. Shepherd, 2 overs, no middles, done for 18. Smith, 3 overs, no middles, 1 for 20. Joseph, 2 overs, no middles, 1 for 16. The bowlers used. It's been good work. The rate has dropped to 7.01. 1 to come in over number 18. Here is Joseph. Comes up now, bowls to Mitchell. Mitchell is driving the ball, finds the edge. And he could have dragged that onto his leg stump. It ends up the short front leg for 1. So the end of a good over. Very good over. Just 5 runs coming from the over. 18 gone, 126 for 5 is the latest score at Sabina Park.
Yeah, and that represents a very good return from Alzari Joseph. None for 35 off 4. He's bowled really, really tightly. And as I alluded to earlier in the commentary, I'm a bit surprised he didn't play in the earlier games. I think he's a very good bowler. This is the first time I've watched him live. But
Can I ask you a question if I interrupt you here? Do you think they've got it right in terms of combinations, the West Indies? I rather suspect they haven't. In terms of the construct of the final 11. Because one would have thought that a fit Hossein would play. McCoy, of course, and someone like a Joseph. Here's Drakes as he comes up now on his way in both to Mitchell, and Mitchell is driving bottom of the bat down to wide long off for one. Will he come back for the second? He will get it now as the captain fumbles under tremendous pressure, and they're back for the second. He's not a happy man. The ball went down towards wide long off. He came across. They put the pressure on him by running the first one quickly, and they got two.
It's a good question, Andrew. Personally, I'd be playing Joseph, Drakes, and McCoy, because you've got to take wickets.
Right.
But they seem to have this thing of having all these lower order batsmen
who can bat it a little bit. Yeah. Here's Drakes, comes in, bowls, picked up, good Yorker, well bowled indeed. Digging it out is Mitchell down towards that mid-off area for a single. Good bowling by young Drakes, Dominic Drakes. Of course, his father, Vasper, would have played for the West Indies. Took one of the best catches in the World Cup. And 129 for 5. 4 to come in over number 19. This is good bowling by the West Indies.
You've got okay, Powell. I guess Powell's playing mainly as a batsman at the moment. He hasn't bowled in this match, and I think he's only bowled one over in the series. But Shepherd and Smith. So you've got three, let's call them all-rounders, who bat probably 6 and lower than that. But personally, I'd want to have my 3 best strike bowlers in the team, plus 2 spinners.
Try to get wickets. Drakes again comes in, bowls to Neesham. Neesham to this delivery, gets a short ball and just paddles it really down to that backward square position. It was banged into the pitch, so the length was different, and just a single. So Drakes is keeping it tight. The first cost 2, the second 1, the third 1. So we've had 3 runs in the first 3 deliveries of over number 90, and you would think that's pretty good cricket. So it's 18 overs and 3 balls, 130 for 5. Mitchell is on 13. Neesham has got 3. And Dominic Drakes will want to finish strong as he comes in to bowl to Mitchell. To this time, pitched up, driven up towards that long on area for 1. Coming from the bottom of the bat, good Yorker length. The intent was good, and it was hit into the pitch. Went down towards long on for 1. 131 for 5. 2 to come in over number 19. Mitchell is 14 and Neesham is 3. Yes, Andy.
This is very impressive by the West Indies. I can't even remember when the last boundary was. Like, they've kept it so tight. But it's also astonishing that New Zealand's going to finish about probably 80 short of what they got on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's quite possible. Here's Drakes, comes up now, bowls to Neesham to this delivery. Short, banged in. He's going to call it a wide. Yes, umpire Duguid. Had breakfast with him yesterday morning. A very lovely band from Georgetown. In fact, the umpires were having their breakfast and enjoying the ackee and saltfish of the Jamaica Pegasus and the atmosphere there. They were all together. From umpire Braffin, who's a big talker. Umpire Riefel was there as well, young men, and certainly enjoying the hospitality of the Jamaica Pegasus in the heart of New Kingston. Here's Drakes, comes in, bowls, pitch up and dragged away out towards that wide long on straight mid wicket for 1. They'll come back for the second. Neesham took that ball from outside the line of the off-stump and dragged it down towards that wide long on area for 2. To go now up to, I make him 5. 1 to come in over number 19, and this is good work. First T20, they won by 13, the second by 90, and today the question being asked from Kingston, Jamaica to Bridgetown, Barbados, who will win the third? The answer is I don't know. Here is Drakes, comes up now in and bowls the ball down the leg side. It's going to be called wide. Umpire Duguid will have some work to do, but he's got the energy, given that big breakfast he had at the Pegasus this morning. Man out of Georgetown, Guyana. Talking about Vic, I remember Vic going to board a market. Good old Vic, who's up there with us, and buying about 10 pineapples. 135 for 5. Of course, lots of mangoes there in Border Market. Wonderful place. We certainly enjoyed going to Guyana. Hello to our friends on NCN Radio. Drakes comes up now in bowls, ball short, pulled away. Just to run, I would imagine, up towards forward square. So Drakes finishes the over well. Short of a length, pulled away for 1. So, what do we have? 1 to come. Mitchell 14. Neesham is 6. 136 for 5 is the latest score at Sabina Park.
A great spell by Drakes there. 1 for 19. Economy rate of 4.75. So that's opening the attack. He bowled the first over. He's come back at the end, bowled the second to last over, and Really, really great performance.
So what are the options now? Smith,
I think it's going to be Shepherd or Smith.
Well, I think
Looks
they're going to
like
go with
it's
Smith. They're not going to go with Shepherd for sure.
Yeah.
No, given what has happened to him,
Yeah.
it looks as if it's going to be Odin Smith.
Yeah.
Drake's his bowler, 4 overs, 1 for 19. Brilliant work by the young man, and I really agree with you. We should play a lot more.
Maybe they should have. Walsh still had overs to go.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, but they've decided to go with Smith. Last over. Here he comes up, and bowls to Neesham outside the off stump. A wide is called by the umpire, and in fact, there was a big swish at that. Keeper Thomas reckons that Neesham got a touch, so that the umpire said no and called a wide. But Thomas, the keeper, is saying, look, I believe that was edge to me. So we shall see. 137 for 5. Immediately, Andy, he said, let's go upstairs, and we will. Talk to me. Decision reviewed.
Well, Thomas has got history today, hasn't he? He's done. This is the second time he's done that. Did that come off the toe of the bat? Oh, the batsman looked back. Neesham looked back. That's always a telltale sign that he probably hit it. So
ultra edge. Here we go. Hey! Yes! Oh! The umpire got it wrong, but of course the technology got it right. So our good friend Gregory Brathwaite will have to change the decision and listen to the applause at Sabina Park, the land of wood and water. And of course, inspired by that thought, feed your faith and doubt will starve to death. So I'm sure all the West Indians are happy with that. Neesham goes, caught behind, 136 for a loss of 6.
Well, you'd have to say that Thomas, Devon Thomas, the wicketkeeper, has probably put his name forward for man of the match at the moment. That's 2 decisions that he's called correctly. The first, of course, was off Devon Conway when he went to sweep a ball and they gloved it to Thomas, and then that one wide outside off stump from Smith, and Neesham chased it, got the faintest of edge, like literally right off the toe of the bat, and Thomas overruled, called correctly on that one as well. So New Zealand is really struggling here. We haven't really talked about this, but 136 for 6 in the last over, having scored 180 in the first game and about 220 odd in the second game. They're going to come up well short today.
Well, it's going to be Bracewell who gets the ball outside the off stump, bowled by Smith. He drives at it, loosely the ball goes by, to be taken by the keeper. Is Thomas going to go upstairs again? No, he's not going to. All right. So what do we have? 4 to come. 136 for 6. It looks as if they may not get 150 here.
Yeah, and they'll be really disappointed with that. But I just go back to my previous comment. This pitch must be.
You think it's playing slow today?
Too paced and slower, yeah.
Here's Smith, comes up now on his way to left-handed Bracewell in bowls, and he's coming right across his stumps and drags the ball away down to backward square. Will Hetmar get across? Yes, he stumbles, he stops it. They look for the third run. The return comes in. He saves the run. Good work by Hetmar. There's been a lot of talk about his fitness or lack of. Going into the backward square boundary, they got 3, so Bracewell is off the mark. There are 3 balls left, 139 for 6. And it's been good work by the West Indies bowlers today. I must also add good captaincy by our good friend Mr. Paul. You never know.
Wow.
If he wins this, of course, people will say he should captain the side.
Exactly.
They may say drop Poran. 139 for a loss of 6. That would generate a big discussion across the Caribbean. Here's Smith, comes up now, in bowls to Mitchell. Mitchell is driving, mid-off takes the catch. The West Indies are on fire at Sabina Park. Pitched up, there was a batsman launching into the big drive. And those buckets came out from a young man, Dominic Drake. He poaches the catch. There's a big smile from Smith. That smile is as broad as Ocharias. 2 to come. New Zealand in trouble. They're 139 for a loss of 7. Talk to me, Andy.
Well, I think the New Zealand batsmen have just really struggled with their timing today, and even going back to Devon Conway, he didn't have any fluency right from the outset. He made 20 at virtually a run a ball, but he wasn't able to find the gaps, wasn't able to find the boundary, and it's just been a pattern that's carried on throughout this match. No one really, apart from Phillips, has managed to dominate the ball in any way, and then Mitchell there, sensing his frustration, tried to hit it over mid-off because the man's up, there's no one at long off, and a comfortable catch in the end for Drakes, although that was travelling, it must be said, but he just hit it straight to the fielder. That brings Ish Sodhi to the wicket now.
Yep, he's got 2 balls.
His first bat of the series.
Yep, 139 for 7. Can Odin Smith finish strongly here? He's got short third man, backward, wide third man. There's a man at the point boundary, extra cover mid-off, mid-on. There's a forward square 10 meters inside the boundary. There's a backward square, and now they find they will come inside the circle presumably, and they're going to push the mid-on back to long on. Here's Smith from the southern end with the big George Shelly stand behind him, comes up and bowls the ball pitched up and hit in the air over the top. It's going to head up towards the boundary and will get there. Where they've done the gamble here, they decided to have the fielder inside the circle. That ball went over, screaming over mid-off. That's gone for 4. Will they take the decision here in the West Indies to maybe have the long off and long on right back, or is it that they're going to have Drakes come back in the circle as well? In fact, what they've decided to do now is to bring the long on into mid-on, and the short fine leg goes back to fine leg. Last ball to be bowled. Here we go. Smith comes up now in bowls to Sodhi. Sodhi swings the ball away. More runs out towards the wide long on area. 1. Will they come back for the second? Surely they will. So the last 2 balls, the return comes in. 6 runs come in. But overall, a very good effort on the part of the West Indies side. And I'm sure there's a huge cheer around the Caribbean. 145 for 7 at the end of over number 20. Sodhi 6, Bracewell 3. And one can say today, fearless of contradiction, the West Indies got it all right today. They've done the bowling. The question we're asking, can they do it with a bat? 145 for 7 at the end of over number 20. New Zealand having won the toss.
Can they do it with the bat? Well, they're not going to get a better opportunity than today. I feel that's an under par score by New Zealand, probably about 40 runs short of what they should have been able to attain, probably around the 180 mark, which is what they got in the first match. So, yeah, if I was the West Indies coach and captain right now, I'd be saying to my side, look guys, we're in this match, let's not panic. Let's play our normal game. And also, of course, we've got Brandon King back in the side today. I think that's going to make a difference at the top of the order. Hopefully, he's fully fit and ready to go. But Kyle Mayers, of course, is out of the side today. So we'll see Brandon King opening with Shamar Brooks. And Brooks has actually looked all right in this series. He times the ball nicely, finds the gaps well. So if they can get off to a good start, then I think they'll win in this game. But what worries me, Andrew, and I've said this many times during this series, is they're just so light on batting. So looking at this side today, Devon Thomas is scheduled to come in at number 3. I feel that's about 3 places too high for him. Shimron Hetmeyer will be in at 4, and Rodman Powell at 5. So they've got a very long tail today. So I really feel like King and Brooks should go out and bat positively, but try and preserve wickets. That's the crucial thing, and that's what New Zealand didn't do today. They didn't preserve wickets, and so yeah, I think West Indies are well in this match, and let's see what happens.
All right, we're just lined up for an interview which is going to be done pretty soon, so we're going to cross as soon as that interview is going to be held. I see that Samuel Badri lining up for the West Indian cricketers, so we're going to keep our eyes on that. But in the meantime, let me tell you that New Zealand won the toss and batted. Guptill bowled, Hussain 15. And here we go. Let's hear what Akil Hussain has got to say.
I mean, at the start of the game, if I was told that I'll get 2 for 28, I'll take that any day. But having said that, being crucial on my bowling performance, I'll say I probably gave away 6-7 runs too much.
You're the number 6 ranked T20 bowler in the world. You're expected to deliver game in, game out. You delivered here today again. What would you attribute to your success and your consistency?
For me, bowling in the power play stages is just being clear. You know, at the end of the day, bowlers are going to get hit. So I think once I get that out of my mind, it's just about going out there and executing, and I think keeping things simple as well. That helps me a lot.
And you demonstrated good courage to Martin Guptill being hit for 6. The next delivery, you were full again. Other spinners might have pulled their length back. You must be courageous, don't you, in this format?
Yeah, I think, as I said before, in the power play, you're going to get hit. So it's about being ready for the next ball and being brave enough, and it boils down to execution, and I'm just happy it came off today.
And what would be the key for your batsmen in pursuit of this target score?
I think once we build partnerships and take it as deep as possible, wickets in hand, then we'll have a very good chance to win this game.
Well played today, Akil. All the best in the remaining of this match.
Thank you.
All right, so very confident Akil Hussain bowling beautifully. So 146 to get from 20. Barry Wilkinson is up next. He's got an interview. So quickly, let me tell you the top scores. Williamson got 24, and he was a top man, 145. And in terms of the bowling, listen to this. Interesting figures. Drake's 4 overs, no better than 1 for 19. Joseph 4 overs, no better than 1 for 35. Hussain 4 overs, no better than 2 for 28. Shepherd 2 overs, no better than 1 for 18. Smith 4 overs, no better than 3 for 29. Good to see him get him on the wickets. Walsh 2 overs, no better than 1 for 16. So, winning the toss and batting at the end of over number 20. New Zealand 145 for 7. Let's join Barry Wilkinson.
Thank you so much, Andrew. And you know, our coverage is brought to you with the kind compliments of csport.tv. And csport.tv did a tremendous job in bringing Premier League football to the fans around the region in the Caribbean. And with me again is Carlo Redwood, Chief Commercial Officer of Verticast Media Group. And Carlo, I know that some of the results have really jolted people this weekend, the second weekend of the Premiership, but how have things gone for csport.tv since their new partnership with the Premier League football in England?
Yeah, it's been an amazing weekend. Lots of amazing games. Just finished watching just earlier amazing Chelsea versus Spurs game. We saw Manchester United, we saw Arsenal play over the weekend. So it's been a really amazing weekend. People have been signing up and viewing our stream on Sport TV and watching it certainly on C-Sport and C-Sport 2 with our cable partners across the region. So we're excited. It's been an amazing weekend, and we continue to encourage people to certainly sign up with our partners across the region in Antigua and in Barbados and sign up with our partners, but also to sign up on csport.tv. We're excited to have people enjoying the Premier League, as they did this weekend.
Well, give us those partners again, because it's not only csport.tv you can watch the Premier League on, but you've also made some partnerships with, like, let's say, MCTV in Barbados. Who are the other partners that we have around the region?
Sure. Again, we have over 40 partners across the region, so let me call them out. Antigua, we have CTV, as you said. In Barbados, we have MCTV. In Guyana, we have E-Networks. In Trinidad, we have Amplia. In Cayman, we have Logic. And in Jamaica, across Jamaica, in a lot of the areas that are not used to seeing the Premier League, we have partners across the region, over 40 cable partners across Jamaica who are now carrying C-Sport and C-Sport 2. Cornwall, in the Montego Bay area, Mars, across the central part of Jamaica, we have Home Time that's as well. So a number of cable partners across the region and across Jamaica enjoying the fantastic Premier League action across C-Sport and C-Sport 2 channels.
Today we had a blockbuster game. It was Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2, and you have to give Tottenham major credit for coming back and drawing that, because it looked like they were goners. When it comes to the reach and the survey you would have done about top Premier League teams, who are perhaps the top three teams, I should say, that csport.tv has found are the teams that persons following the Premiership?
Well, when we look at the subscriptions and certainly how people subscribe and log on to the games, certainly they continue to struggle. The number one by far continues to be Manchester United. Lots of fans across the region, lots of fans across Jamaica. Obviously hoping that they're going to find some form. They're going to figure out kind of what's going on after that 4-0 defeat on the weekend, surprising to Brentford. But they are by far number one. You then also have Liverpool. Liverpool plays tomorrow versus Crystal Palace tomorrow, so people can log on or log on to the cable channels and watch Liverpool play Crystal Palace tomorrow. You have Arsenal, you have of course Chelsea and Spurs. So those are some of the big teams, but you have so many fans with so many different teams that they follow. So that's what makes the Premier League the kind of biggest competition in the world, and certainly the most popular in the region.
Let's just give you the scores from yesterday. We had Aston Villa 2, Everton 1, Arsenal 4, Leicester City 2, draw of 0 between Brighton and Newcastle, Manchester City 4, Bournemouth 0, Southampton and Leeds to 2-2 draw, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0 with Fulham, Brentford 4, Manchester United 0. Today, Leicester City 2, Brentford 2, forgive me, I'm going back to last week. Today, we had a situation where it was Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2, Nottingham 1, West Ham United 0. So when you look at those scores, tomorrow we've got Liverpool and Crystal Palace. It augurs for a very exciting kind of third round, which is also up and coming. The big game in the third round on the 20th of August, which is my birthday, I must tell you. It looks to me so far like it's going to be a clash there between Arsenal and Bournemouth, because Arsenal have a good chance to go to the top of the Premiership as City are playing Newcastle on the Sunday. Now, we want to just ask you one last time before we go back to cricket. How can fans sign up at csport.tv? Tell us the last time.
Oh, it's very, very easy. Just go into your Chrome browser, whether that's on your laptop or on your smart TV. Type in csport.tv. It's going to take you into a very easy sign-up page. You put in your information, you put in your email address. It's going to send you a code in your email. You just put that code right in and you get onto the page. You will see all the games, the upcoming games that's coming as well. And you'll be able to watch and enjoy the Premier League. But as I said, not just the Premier League. We actually have the Under-20 Women's World Cup that's going on C Sport 2 right now. So those games are going on. So all of those fans can be able to watch who love football. We have, obviously, the NFL that's coming up in September. We have the World Cup coming up in November. We have the Euro Nations League that's going to be coming up as well. So lots of great content for people to enjoy. And let me also say this. Look out, coming very, very soon. We will be launching our C Sport app. And that will be launched in another couple of days. So people can look out for that.
Well, thank you so much, Carlo Redwood. Of course, Carlo is indeed the Chief Commercial Officer of Verticast Media. Carlo, we want to thank you, and we look out to csport.tv. Well, we turn our attention now back to cricket here at Sabina Park. The West Indies with a victory target of 146. It's going to be Bracewell now as he comes in and bowls to Shamar Brooks, and Brooks is getting a short ball and pulls it well. What a start for the Windies. That's gone down to the back with Chile Bungry. That's gone for 4. The Windies are off and running. That was too short, too wide down the leg side. Dr. Ashkai Man Singh is back with me, and assure that Shamar Brooks will be happy to get that boundary.
Indeed, yes, that's the 4th ball of the over. The first one going for a single, 2 dot balls after that. So they needed to get the run boards ticking, and he did that quite well. A ball that was quite loose by Santo.
Here he comes again and balls this one a short side of the line. The all-step delicately played to the backward point area, and he won't be able to get anything on that occasion. A dive-in stop as the total remains in 5 without loss. The Windies did well. The last game it was 216 and that was made. Today they limited the Kiwis who decided to bat first to 145. Here he comes in now. Bracewell, the off-spin, and bowls to Brooks, who's working this one down to fine leg. Sody fields, but misfields. They'll get one, and they should come quite comfortably back for the second. A bit scrappy there from Sody. You're not accustomed to seeing that from the Kiwis, but so it is. And at the end of the over, it's 7 without loss with King 1 and Brooks and 6.
Indeed, yes, that one he having to dive to his full length to his right. Did so. He got his hand to it, which saved the last 2 runs. But as you said, he probably should have stopped that. It's actually it was actually Bracewell who was bowling that over, and in the last ball, his handkerchief or his towel falling out of his back pocket. And that could have been a dead ball because that's quite distracting to the batsman. However, Brooks I think would be happier with the 2 runs and a dead ball, and so 7 off the first over, 5 to Brooks. 6 to Brooks, 1 to Brandon King, who had got the single off the first ball and will face the first ball of this over as well. This time it will be Is it Santner this time? Yes, it is. Mitchell Santner, 72 matches, 78 wickets with an economy rate of 7.16. Of course, the run rate just a touch over 7 per over, and the West Indies are actually on 7 after the first over.
So it's going to be Bracewell now, and bowls is very short, cut away, very stylishly there by Brandon King, out to the mid-off area. 1 run, that single will take the total now to 8 without loss. The Windies.
Nice to see Brandon King back in the fold. He had a shoulder injury last weekend. It seems so long ago, but last weekend they were playing in Florida against India. Brandon King missing that second match on the Sunday as well because of that injury. Nice to see him back and nice to see him making contact with the ball.
Here he comes in again now, bowls, and this time Brooks is looking to turn the ball in the onside, wrapped in the pad. There's a bit of a question being asked there by Santner. But the umpire says not out, and luckily for him, he's not given.
Well, the question to be asked is whether Brooks is going to sweep off of his leg stump again. He's so often LBW because he just misjudges the line completely and should really play the ball straight.
Here he comes in again, a ball, short ball. He's looking to pull, doesn't time it, but it comes off the bottom edge, and he'll get 1. Or did that come off the pad? It's actually wide, so he has to bowl that over. Everyone missed it, obviously.
Indeed, yes, that ball was short and wide and should have been put away for 4, to be honest. It was so easy to hit. But Brooks struggling with that ball on the leg side, playing on the onside. And as I said, I'd much rather see him play straight for a while and just get the timing right.
Here he comes in again and bowls. This time he's looking to drive off the bended knee. Goes out to cover and there's no run.
Of course, they've taken a single as well, so it would have been a wide and a bye, or 2 wides. How would you call that? It's 2 wides probably. So it's Brandon King who's on strike right now.
Well, Brandon King, luckily for him, didn't get through. Here comes Satin again and bowls. This one is delicately played, a little dab to the short third man, but it goes straight to the field and there's no run.
Trying to cut the ball there, the ball being fooled by the spin in the previous ball, just waiting for it this time, dabbing it a bit too hard. Guptill normally was touching the ball to that same place at short third man and taking a single. Brandon King trying to use pace or force the ball rightfully, just not getting the gap.
Satner tosses the ball from hand to hand, 10 without loss. Here he comes in again now and bowls, and King is driving, doesn't time it at all, out to the mid-on area. In fact, he drove it and tugged it at the same time, and it looked quite ungamely, but luckily for him, it didn't go in the air. He didn't play a missed shot.
Once again, it's a matter of playing with a straight bat. We saw the New Zealanders do that in the last 3 matches, instead of trying to play across the line, which is what Brandon King is trying to do.
Here he comes in again and bowls, short ball on his stumps. He had to be careful, forced it out to the cover area. There's no run. The over ends the West Indies with a target of 146 after 2 overs. They're 10 without loss. Brooks has 6 and King has 2.
Good over there by Santner, and of course New Zealand is going for 2 spinners to start off with. Well, this is the first match in 3 that Santner has not taken a wicket with the first ball of the over. So at least that's a relief for the West Indies. But Brandon King trying to force the pace too early. He's been away from cricket for a week. I don't know how many net sessions they got, but you could see that he's trying to make contact, and it's probably better just playing the ball straight and just allowing the singles to come your way. That's something that Shamar Brooks also has been trying to do too much, which is to force balls that should not be played across the line, and has fallen especially to the spinners in that fashion. Well, enough of the spinners now. I think they figure that there's not that much in the pitch for it. They go for their main strike bowler, Tim Southey.
So Southey comes in now and bowls to Brooks, and Brooks is driving in the air, just a bit airy-fairy, but it's another dot ball. The ball goes to the mid-off area and there's no run.
Just short of a length outside off stump, and Brooks thought the drive was there, just checked the shot at the last minute, otherwise it certainly would have gone in the air. There's an extra cover at a conventional extra cover, and then a wide mid-off on the circle, and a cover as well. So it's a good field there, the extra cover being closest to the batsman.
Here comes Southey in again as he runs in and bowls to Brooks. And Brooks is again delicately playing this down to third man. That's 4. Well played, Shamar Brooks. He saw that the third man was short and in the circle. There was also a field at a backward point. But once you get past that short third man, it's going to go down the hill for 4. And it was a very delicate and little timely dab there from Shamar Brooks. Very touch player. 4 runs to him. He goes to 10. And the Windies continue to move on and trek. They're now 14 without loss.
A very deliberate shot too, as he waited for the ball outside the off stump and placed it to perfection. A lot of time to play that shot, and he used all the time he needed.
Here he comes in again now and bowls to Brooks, and Brooks is looking to whip this one. He's going to go down to the fine leg boundary. Did that come off the pad, or is that buys? They're asking about the LBW, and the umpire signaled 4 leg buys now. The keeper is asking the question, wasn't that a close shot for LBW?
I reckon he's asking too many questions because
he should have
stopped the ball. And I think as soon as it passed him, he was gesticulating and carrying on, looking for a review. Not even Williamson was interested in taking him on, as that ball pitched on the leg stump was continuing down that line and hit him outside the leg stump as it continued down that line. As you said, the wicketkeeper really should have stopped that.
It would have been laughable had they gone for review because that missed 4 leg stumps. Here comes Southey and bowls now to Brooks, and Brooks has turned this one to short flying leg. Sodhi's there, a good single there by the West Indies, and that's 5 runs so far in the over, 9 runs in the over so far. It's now 18 without loss in over number 3.
A single a la New Zealand there, called by Brandon King, hit to the fielder, but in this level of cricket you've got to make sure that you take every single available, and Brandon King calling because he was backing up so well, calling the run as soon as it came off the bat. He was running to the danger end, and in the end there was no danger whatsoever.
So Southey has got 4 from 4, 4 runs from 4 balls, 19 without loss. Here he comes in now and bowls to King, and King is punching this one very classy out to the point boundary, but he'll just get 1 because there's a fielder there. So 1 run, and I would think that these are
that
the
a
two
no
most
ball?
touched
That's not too sure. I saw a signal there by the umpire, and I don't know if he's signaling to the other umpire that there's 1. I guess so. We've got to see another thing. So maybe I'm just false. You're seeing 5 off of 5 now, but there is of course a 4 leg bye and a 1 leg bye as well. So there's 10 runs off the over so far.
Yeah, I was just making the point too. I'm just wondering if these 2 players are perhaps considered 2 of the more touched players of this team. They're the most enjoyable to watch. Southey bowls, and this delivery is wide down the leg side. And why was not that signal wide by the umpire?
I think the umpires have not had a good day. They've had 2 decisions overturned, and in the last one he'd called a wide and it was caught behind. This time he's saying, I'm not going that route again. But that really was down the leg side. It continued along that line and would have been a wide more often than not. So after 3 overs, 20 for no loss. Shamar Brooks on 10 off 11. Brandon King on 3 off 7.
I really want to see that again to find out why that was not called wide. It was down the leg side, the batsman looked to turn into the onside, the catch was taken, and there was no wide call. Well, the over's over. Makes no sense crowding with spilled milk. 3 overs gone, 20 without loss. They need 146 to win the Windies, and Lucky Ferguson, the man with the pace, is back.
Indeed, yes, and the New Zealand is going with 2 spinners for the first 2 overs and then immediately taking them off. We saw a little bit of turn, I think, from Akil Hussain earlier on, but the sun has been very hot, and if there was any moisture to help the spinners, that's certainly gone right now. Bathing in sunshine is Sabina Park. There's a storm in the Ligney area of Kingston, which is no more than about 2 miles away from here as the crow flies, but no chance of coming to Sabina Park.
So here he comes in now and bowls, and this delivery is short, turning in the onside. There's no run. So just now I heard a clatter. Was that thunder?
Indeed, yes. There was a very loud clap of thunder, and as I said, it's pouring, coming off the Blue Mountains, going towards the Ligney area. You can see the rain really in a very heavy fashion, but that doesn't tend to come this way. And certainly for the way that it's poised right now, you hope it never will come this way. A very good crowd today. The party stand has been filling up, and the north stand also. The only stand that's open is pretty full as well. The best crowd by far. In fact, maybe more than the 2 days combined.
Well, yeah, the party stand is definitely filling up. Here comes Lucky Ferguson now and bowls, and this delivery is driven in the air out to mid-off. They'll get a single, throw going in, but just for purposes to say they threw it in, but no chance of run out there, and there's just 1.
Going hard on that ball was Brandon King. In fact, as I said, driving in the air. If they would have watched Guptill again, you would have noticed that the reason he's the highest scorer in T20s in the world, in history, is because he uses soft hands and he stays there as long as he can, accumulating runs. Going hard at the ball sometimes allows you to hit the ball straight to the fielder, and we've seen Brandon King getting once or twice out like that.
Here he comes in again and bowls. This one is turned down to flying legs, straight to the fielder, no run. West Indies just not getting the singles here. 21 without loss. Brooks has got 10 and the King has got 4. The required run rate is 7.5. The current run rate is just under 6, so they'll just need to watch that. They don't want it to build. There wouldn't be any cause of concern now, but you don't want that to build.
Indeed, yes. Well, 3.3 overs, 21 for no loss. Brooks certainly looked like he's timing the ball much better than Brandon King, but both looking fairly comfortable out there.
Here he comes in again now and bowls to Brooks, and Brooks this time is turning this in the onside. They're appealing for LBW. The ball is ballooning out to the mid-wicket, but I don't think the umpire or the other players would take that too seriously. No run, 21 without loss.
Ball just cutting into the pads of Shamar Brooks. He's never really looked very comfortable on that leg stump. I just fear that sometimes he plays inside the line far too often. We've seen him, as I said, to the spinners, sweep off the leg stump and get out LBW. And even today we're seeing that he's playing inside the line. I don't know if that's affected by the fact that there's a short fine leg deployed for that catch.
Here he comes in again and bowls, and this delivery is short. And there was Brooks looking to cut short side of the line of the off stump. That was a lot of pace on that. I reckon that was about 88 miles per hour.
Not too sure what that is, but I know the last ball he bowled was 130 kilometers. This certainly much quicker and with a bounce as well. Now, it was pitched short. Shamar Brooks on the back foot played the correct shot, but when the bounce was as appreciable as that was, you realize that Shamar Brooks would have to undercut it. I think it was too fast for him to adjust his shot.
Here he comes in again, Lockie Ferguson. He's pretty quick. You've got to watch him. He comes in again now, bowls to Brooks, and Brooks is on the front foot. Didn't know where that was. He played it into the onside, but he was trying to play in the off. The over ends, the latest score. Windies needed 146 to win. They're 21 without loss after 4.
Very good over there by Lockie Ferguson. Just one run coming off of it and dropping the run rate to 5.25. Of course, early days still, it's only 4 overs, 21 for no loss, but a very, very good over there by Lockie Ferguson. Batsmen doing the sensible thing, which is trying and playing it on the merit of what was coming to them. Not trying to manufacture, not trying to play across the line, and therefore both survive to fight another day. Well, it looks like we're going to have yet another bowling change. It's going to be Bracewell, I think it is, coming back again. Brandon King, who'd only faced one ball, took a single off the first ball that was bowled. And that is Bracewell, is it? I think, yes, it is.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on, Zach. Come on, Zach.
Kez's Savannah Grass is stopped by the sunshine, in the sunshine of Sabina. A big contrast. One of the biggest songs ever to come out of Trinidad. Savannah Grass there by Kez. Here comes Satna and bowls, and there he is tailing away and punches it beautifully through cover. Well played, Brandon King. You've got 4. That was timing and a bit of class on that shot as well. Very smart by Brandon King. It was short. He got on the back foot, had a careful look, and he pierced the outside field, which is not easy. You're talking about a short third man, a backward point, a cover point, an extra cover, and a long off, and he got through. 4 runs.
Very quick footwork, as well as he took 2 steps back to make room for that shot.
Here comes Satna. Let's see how he'll respond. 25 without loss. King comes down the pitch and drives straight down the ground into the boundary for 4. Brandon King at his best. That was a lovely shot. He came down the pitch, used his feet, got to the pitch with delivery and smacked it down to long on. 4 runs.
Well, we had mentioned that Odin Smith is playing on his home ground. So is Brandon King, who plays for Kingston Cricket Club, knows this pitch very, very well, and certainly showing that he's played all of his cricket at this ground. Not worried about the pitch at all.
29 without loss. He's on 12. This delivery is turned nicely out to the mid-wicket area. Not getting carried away as Brandon King. Just 1 run. Good cricket from the West Indies. You've got 9 from the first 3. Takes the pressure off of you a little bit. Now you can perhaps look and see what is a bonus.
And the tendency is to just get carried away with the swing and raise the shot, play it in the air, but Brandon King rolling his wrists and doing the sensible thing.
Here comes Satton in again and bowls to Brooks. And Brooks is looking to pull. They're appealing for LBW. Now it says the umpire. They're discussing it. Satton says it's a bit high. So too does Williamson. Well, no, they're actually taking the discussion now to other parties.
Well, I tell you something.
And they're going upstairs.
Brooks is doubled over, which means that it didn't hit him that high up. He was crouched and he's doubled over right now. I think he was hit in a very painful position. The question is, how low was he? But the problem we keep saying about Brooks is that he tries to play across the line when the ball is bowled on his stumps. This one, if the bounce has saved him, it still means that he has to rethink the shot, because he really should not be playing across the line when he can't execute. Right now, he's not thinking about anything like that, as he remains doubled over in quite a bit of discomfort. But that ball was pitched on off stump and hit him straight in the box, but I reckon that ball is going over the stumps. What do you think, Barry?
I don't know. It missed the pass, but he was low. It didn't get an edge. That's the first thing that they're checking for.
He's standing about on the crease, so it's not like he's too far forward or too far back. But the ball did have a bit of bounce on it, far away from the bat. No chance of it being an edge. So the wicketkeeper was pretty convinced that it should have been reviewed, and they went for the review. Shamar Brooks, once again, you're seeing a ball, an ugly shot there, ugly sight on the screen, because it's hitting him in front of middle stump, and yet he has a horizontal bat. And so the only thing that's going to save him is height. Clearly reconstructing the images are the technical team.
The Kiwis are walking away.
But we're seeing it now.
The Kiwis are walking away. They're not interested in that.
Well, I tell you, it's close.
Yeah, I'm telling you, barely. It's missing. For some reason, the New Zealanders are so good at judging length when it comes to looking at the reviews that they can tell if you should be interested or not. Before that decision was given, they began to dissipate.
They're seeing the same replays we're seeing.
Yeah.
And there was no tracking at that point, and they decided already.
They decided already, no, that's too high. So, they've lost the review, New Zealand. 30 without loss, 2 balls left in the over. Here he comes in on balls to Brooks, and Brooks is driving pleasantly, backward of point for a single. They might get 2 here because this is poorly fielded, but well backed up. And Mitchell is able to stop a second run, 31 without loss, with King now on 13, Brooks on 11.
And Santner with unfamiliar figures of 1.5 overs, 0 for 13 with 1 ball left to go.
King is on strike. Here he comes in now and bowls to King, and King gets delivery down the leg side, turns it neatly for the square, and there's just going to be 1 to end the over. So, 146 is the target. The latest score after 5 overs, the Windies 32 without loss, King 14, Brooks 11, the latest from Sabine Park.
King 14 off 13, Brooks 11 off 17. King certainly looking like he's working his way back into the game, playing very crisp shots. We saw 2 consecutive 4s off of a short ball that he punched through the cover field, and a more full ball there by Santner that hit straight over his head, but connecting with the middle of the bat. Brooks, who looked fairly, started off pretty quickly, and we actually saw him dab a ball past the short third man for 4 very convincingly. Still plays across the line too much in front of the stumps, and was, I wouldn't say lucky from the review, but got the benefit of the bounce, which he would like you to think that he knew from the start, but got a bit of pain for it because it hit him in a very uncomfortable position.
All right, so what do we have? The West Indies are doing pretty well. Here's a ball which is swung away lustily over the wicket. That's gone for 6. Pitched up by Southey, and King on his home ground. That was played with a washpan of disdain and swung it over wide long on. That's gone for 6. Well played, Brandon King.
Yeah, what a great shot that was by King. He just picked up the length from Southey very early and lofted that one away over what I guess you'd call cow corner into the stand, probably on the second tier, and he's now making Southey think about his next ball.
Well, he goes to 20, 38 without loss. He comes in and bowls to King. King is swinging again. Where's that gone? And the catch is not going to be taken. Instead, it goes out to mid-wicket. That's gone for 4. Well, he's really getting very cute now, King. What? That delivery was on the line of the leg stump. It was swung away in the air down towards mid-wicket. The field at mid-wicket was trying to catch it. It went past him. That's gone for 4. So they're having fun in the sun at Sabina Park. Talk to me, Andy.
Yeah, just remember this is the last over of the power play, and Martin Guptill there on the mid-wicket boundary just couldn't get round to that in time to cut it off, and King's on fire.
Well,
here.
he's gone to 24 from 15, 42 at loss. Southey comes in, bowls to King. King is cutting 4 runs. Beautiful shot. Oh, the shot of the day. Like a doctor with surgical precision, mind you. There's a short third man at a backward point, and somehow he found that gap. That's gone for 4, and he's got them jumping in the party stand at Sabina Park. King is looking very good indeed. I suppose he's living up to his name, King. What a shot. Have a look at that.
Absolutely beautiful timing there. Played it late with soft hands, as they say, and just guided that one away, using the pace of the ball, and beat the right between the man at short third man and backward point.
Southey again from the northern end, 46 to the loss, comes in, bowls to King. King is swiping this time. That didn't look good at all. Don't spoil it, Mr. King. A big old cow swipe, as they would say in Caribbean parlance, swiping like blind elder, and the ball went by to be taken by the keeper. That was a rather naughty shot. Haven't done so well. You don't want to give it away. You don't want to be a victim of your own indiscretion. King is 28. Brooks is 11. It's 5 overs and 4 balls gone. 46 without loss. The target, let me remind you, is 146. The West Indies have done well. At this stage, New Zealand were 45 for 1. Here is Southey. Comes in, bowls to King. King covers up and plays an authentic shot. Ripping the ball away, turning the wrist and impact. Goes out to forward square for a single. With that, he goes up to, I make him 30 now. Is he 29? He's 29. He's got, with 1 to come in over number 6. The West Indies have made a good start in pursuit of their 146th victory. They're well positioned at 47 without loss. Andy.
Yeah, great start by the West Indies, isn't it? They've preserved wickets and they've scored runs, and that's exactly the formula for chasing a fairly low total here.
Brooks is 11. Here's Southey, comes up now, in bowls to Brooks in this delivery. He's whipping the ball away, coming right across the stumps, full in the pads, and he works it down towards mid-wicket on the boundary to get a run. Good over for the West Indies. In fact, the last over, some 16 runs came from that over. At the end of it, King is on 29, Brooks is on 12, 6 gone, 40 without loss, the latest score at Sabina Park.
Yeah, and you'd have to say Tim Southey's been hit a bit in this series, hasn't he? And he's been picked off again there by King. The beautiful 6 and a 4 and a 4. No, 2 fours, wasn't it? 2 fours. The one behind backward point, and then the one through mid wicket plus that 6. So King's doing a job for his team here, and boy, have they missed him at the top of the order. They really struggled, the West Indies, in the first 2 matches here at Sabina Park when Kyle Mayers and Shamar Brooks were opening the batting. But I think what's good about having King in the side is that he scores quickly, he's an aggressive player, and it just takes a little bit of pressure off Shamar Brooks. He can play his natural game.
I've said that. I'm not quite sure that they know what's the right combination. I think that is a problem that is facing the West. They've got to get it right, really.
Well, I'll go a step further. I think these guys need to bat for at least another 5 overs.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Here we go. Southey to see what he can do now. It's over number 7. In he comes. Southey comes in and bowls. A ball which wraps the batsman the pad as he goes on the back foot. Hits the ball. It's the pad. In fact, he was looking to work the ball into the onside. And it comes from the top of the pads. Hit too high. So it's 48 without loss. We're into over number 7. And King is on 29. Brooks is 20. To Southey to continue the attack as he grips the ball. Operating from the southern end. Comes in to bowl to Brooks into this delivery. He's off the back foot and forces the ball out to cover. There's one from this protection on the boundary on the back foot and gets the ball to cover for 1. With that single, Brooks goes to 13. King is 29. And the West Indies in pursuit of 146 for victory. In over number 7, they are 49 without loss, which in my view represents a pretty decent start, Andy.
A very, very good start. Going along at 7 runs and over. And wickets in hand. King and Brooks looking great here.
So he comes up now. He's in balls outside the line of the off stump, short. There's King pulling the ball from outside of the off stump down to mid wicket. There's protection on the boundary, just a single. That ball was pretty short. Went back and played across it. Gets it out to mid wicket for 1. So Brooks is on 13. King is 30. The 50s come from the board for the West Indies, and that's would bring a lovely cheer around the ground. So King 19 balls for 30 runs. Here's the ball short of a length. Bowled by Southey and pulled away up to wide long on by Brooks for a single. Waited on it and got it up to that wide long on air for 1. So we got 2 balls left at over number 7. The rate is 7.13, and that's the required rate. Here we go. Southey to continue as he comes in to bowl to King, and to this delivery. King is back and swings it up to mid wicket, but get 1 only. Tumbling save by the field up there, gets the ball with his hands very quickly, just trying to work out who that field is up there at the wicket. But he made a very good save.
Glenn Phillips out there.
Phillips is
He's
brilliant in that position.
Very good fielder, isn't he?
Wonderful. We've seen it in the CPL. Darting across the boundary to pick it up down at that mid wicket area.
He's really fast to the ball. He very rarely fumbles, and he's got a great arm.
Well, here we go. Last ball of the over. Brooks is on 14 to this delivery. He's forward and drives back to the bowler, who gets his hand to it and takes some of the weight of it, and then follows it and picks it up. So it means that Brooks can't score. So we've now completed over number 7. 52 without loss is the latest score at Sabina Park.
I'd love to see one of those CricViz win predictors at the moment, because my money is absolutely on the West Indies here. As long as they don't lose it, they just need to keep going along at this rate. 7 and over at the moment. We've got King 31 off 20 and Brooks 14 off 22. That's not crucial at the moment that Brooks is scoring at less than run a ball, because King's going along so well at the other end. But the thing is, after this pair, we've got Devon Thomas coming in at 4. The batting is a little bit brittle after these two.
But Sackner returns to the attack. He comes in and boasts to King, and King is swinging. Where's that gone? Over the wicket. That's gone for 6. Well played indeed. He timed it beautifully. Well, he knows the scrum very well, Sabina Park. He went on the back foot and pulled the ball away over the wicket. That's gone for 6. And he's really got them jumping at Sabina Park. The West Indies, they're going to 58 without loss. Well played, Brandon King.
Yeah, Satner just dragged that down too short. Although King was a fair way back in his crease, and he just pulled that one away over the mid-wicket boundary, sailing over the head of Phillips, and just narrowly missing the Kingston Cricket Club there. And I think they found the ball now.
Well, they have. So King is 37. Sagna comes in, bowls him outside the off. Somebody runs it down to third man. Will get one. Will he come back for the second? No, they won't. A ball was outside line the off. Somebody dabbed it expertly, and that went away down to third man for one. Playing with soft hands. So they require 87 from 76 balls. King is 38. Brooks is on 14:59 without loss. We're into over number 8. So the countdown is on here for the West Indies. Here's Sankner, comes up now, bowls to Brooks. Brooks is off the back foot and punches the ball away. Out to cover, there's protection of the boundary. Phillips fumbles, but they were just jogging the first run. That's something they've got to work on. And we know that Brooks is a very languid kind of cricketer, but they've got to get it right, really.
conceding 1 run. But I mean, that was an awful over from Sodhi. You'd have to say he's either too short or too full, and the West Indies cashed in completely. And both Brooks and King hitting sixes in that over, and this is a very, very impressive batting performance by the West Indies today. You just wonder whether having such a big change in personnel, they made 4 changes for this match, as we've mentioned already in the commentary. They're resting Nicholas Pooran today, the captain, and they just seem to have a completely different outlook on the game. It's very pleasing to see as a fan, and it's going to be, if they can't, surely they can't lose from here.
One would think not really. Well, it's 81 without loss. We start over number 10, and Ferguson is back. Comes up now, in bows to Brooks. Brooks is under the front foot and just guides the ball away expertly into the offside, down to that backward point area for singles. Open in the face of the bat and impact. He's such a wonderful, languid player to watch, Shamar Brooks. And the score goes up to, I make it 82 without loss. We're into over number 10. Hello to all of our listeners again. We want to thank Omega KLS FM 89. The owner, I think, is very much in the box. Hello to you, sir. Good to have you. And he says blessings. Well, of course, he would have prayed for the West Indies last night as well. And the mighty Gabby was saying, Lord, send an answer for we. And they've answered your prayer, sir. And they're doing pretty well. So the bishop is in the box, and he would pray for Barry Wilkinson a little bit later on as well. He needs it. And pray for this guy, this Andy. This is the owner of the radio station. We want to thank them very much indeed for being very much a part of it, ensuring that the commentaries are heard in New Zealand, right through the Caribbean, from, of course, our friends there in Trinidad and Tobago, right through to Barbados. Here's Ferguson, comes in on his way to bowl to Brooks, who's 30 this delivery. Brooks is back and just works the ball away neatly to the onside for 1. They should surely get 2 here. They'll come back for the second, and there's a fumble. And that's what happened when you put the fielders under pressure. They took the first one quickly, and in the end, the second was comfortable as the ball went down to mid-wicket. They're back for the second to carry the score to 85 without loss. We're into over number 10. Andy.
Well, that's just a reflection of the positivity about their game today. Guptill came charging in off the square leg boundary then, had a chance to restrict it to 1, fumbled, and in the end it was an easy 2.
The rate required now is 5.81. That should be a pretty easy assignment. Here's a delivery, which is bang on target, bowled by Ferguson. Of course, he's pretty sharp. There is Brooks going back, stifle a bit with the extra pace, digs it out, and the ball goes down towards gully. There's no run.
Pretty
so 85, very sharp indeed.
That last ball was 150 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, he's sharp. And he's the type that I think should play a lot more and get wickets, because I really feel in T20 cricket there's not a great deal of emphasis on getting wickets, and I think that's wrong, really. 85 without loss. 2 to come in over number 10. Ferguson steams in to bowl to Brooks, in bowls to Brooks. Brooks gets a short ball banged in short, and he's discomforting Brooks with that pace. Did you see that, Barry? That was a very good delivery. Banged in short, and it went away over his head, taken by the keeper. 85 without loss. We've got, of course, 1 to come in over number 10. And, of course, it's good to have the bishop in the box, and he's got his good friend there, of course, the 2 big men in the box as well, Peter and Vic, and it's 85 without loss. 1 to come in over number 10. It's Brooks on 32, King is on 46. Ferguson comes in, balls pitched up, outside and the outside, and that resulted from the ball before that was banged in short. He discomforted Brooks, and they was bowling the ball full, and instinctively Brooks is going towards square leg and didn't get back into that. That's what happens when you bowl quickly. So at the halfway stage, the West Indies in pursuit of 146 for victory. One would think they are in a good position. Of course, we're going to invite the thoughts of Andy McLean, our guest commentator from New Zealand, to reflect on what they've done so far. King is 46, Brooks is on 32, 10 overs gone, 85 without loss. That's the latest score at Sabina Park.
Yeah, and Ferguson bowling very well there. So he's bowled the 2 overs now, none for 5, and even in that over he varied his pace. 1 went through at 150, then there was the short ball, the bouncer, 142, and then the last ball, which was probably an attempted Yorker, but a slower ball, 129. So he's clearly the pick of the bowlers so far today. Just remembering, of course, New Zealand doesn't have Trent Boult in the side today. He's been rested, and they've included the 3 spinners again, Bracewell, Sodhi and Santner. But the West Indies are in a commanding position here, it has to be said. 85 without loss after 10, so a really, really strong start, and what a difference it's made to have Brandon King in the side. 46 not out, he's batted absolutely beautifully, put the New Zealand bowlers under so much pressure, waiting for the bad ball, and when the bad ball arrives, he's inevitably put it away. It's been raining sixes here, and it's great to see because this is probably the biggest crowd we've had in the series so far here at Sabina Park in the third match. But that's not surprising. I guess it's a Sunday afternoon, it's a beautiful day. There's a little bit of cloud overhead now, but nothing to be concerned about. And so, yeah, I think New Zealand is probably staring down the barrel of a defeat, which will be their first for a very, very long time in one-day cricket, or limited overs cricket, I should say. And but what a treat this has been for the crowd here, including the Carib party stand, which is next to the scoreboard, which incidentally, I don't know why the scoreboard does this, but it shows the time in New Zealand time. But helpful for me, but probably not that helpful for anyone else.
Well, since it shows very little else, I think they're just happy for people in New Zealand to pay attention to it, because nobody here can. We can't make out what the score is. We can't make out how many overs are gone.
Let's not get started on the facilities,
But what I will get started on is the batting performance of the West Indies. 61 now needed off of 60 balls. Nice to see Brandon King back and at his home ground in Sabina Park. Nice to see Chris Gayle in the yard, who's just coming straight from the airport to Sabina Park. And rumour, the scoop I have for you, Barry, is that he'll be performing in the party stand after the match.
Performing in the party stand. I think people would have rather see Chris Gayle perform in the middle years ago, but we like to see what he has to offer in the party stand. It's going to be Bracewell to bowl to King, and King is looking for a half century. Turns this one down behind square. He gets a run closer. He's on 47 and is now on to 87 without loss. Target 146. This is good batting by the West Indies.
And of course that means 60 needed off of 59 balls. Brandon King approaching a second half century in a week, as he'd scored a half century last week in Florida.
Here he comes in now and bowls to Brooks, and Brooks is driving straight down the ground. That might go for 4. Yes, it will. No, it doesn't. Very well stopped by Martin Guptill. He just dived across the ground there, like I said, like Greg Louganis, and stopped what was a certain boundary. And in the end, they only got a single.
The important thing is he didn't fumble, which is why one could have thought that it would have gone for 4. Hit very, very hard, and he just came across, stretched out his hand, stopped got all the pace off, and saved 3 runs.
This time it's undriven there by Brooks, by King, I beg your pardon, out to the long on boundary for another single.
So very fluent batting here. Brooks had shown some susceptibility to playing across the line, but he's put that behind him now and timing the ball exquisitely as he's back on strike.
He's back on strike, you got that right. And this delivery now, he's reverse sweeping. He misses it, or did he? It's going to go down to the boundary. The third man boundary, will it get there? No, it won't. They'll pull it back. Let's wait for the signal. Was it leg by? Was it by? Was it runs? By. Everyone missed it. So 2 byes there. 2 byes. And the total goes to 90 without loss. I'm just wondering, is it in the rules? Let's say a batsman was on 46 and he thought he swept the ball fine, but the umpire signaled byes. Does he have the power to review, or is it only just for wickets? This delivery is down the leg side and turned out to mid wicket. I think a batsman should have the power to review. If he thought that he edged it or hit the ball,
I tell you one thing, it would be terrible to lose a review off of that. So,
but what's
one of the most ugly things is when you see somebody going for a reverse sweep and missing it. And I tell you something, on the replay, it was not missed by Shamar Brooks.
Exactly, that's the point I'm making. This delivery is driven out to the sweeper, and that's just going to be 1 run. Shamar Brooks hit that ball, so the umpire has given byes when it should have been runs.
Absolutely, and
this is I might have said that jokingly, but I was quite serious in saying that Shamar Brooks had every right to have that reversed. The ball clearly came off of the bat.
Indeed. Well, the story is that at the end of 11, it's now 92 without loss. West Indies now needing 54 from 54 balls. And Shamar Brooks, who has been denied 2 runs by the umpire, and the reality is he reverse swept the ball. He hit the ball before it even went behind him, so it wasn't that hard to see.
It should have been a catch.
Well, he hit it on the ground, but the point is the umpire was not unsighted. You should have seen that. And the umpires have not had a very good match today.
No, they haven't. They haven't had a good match at all. So we're down to run a ball now. 54 from 54 with 10 wickets in hand. The Windies should not blow it from here, but we've seen stranger things happen. Ferguson is going to continue. He comes in and bowls to King, who's on 49, and King gets it down the leg side. This time he's driving out to the mid-off area, and that's a half century from Brandon King. Very well played. Raise your bat. It was a delivery on the line of the off stump, and he just raises his bat straight to the Kingston Cricket Club where he's from.
And then to his teammates in the dressing room,
which
is fair enough. But I tell you, look at Akeel Hussain on TV. They're smiling away. Brandon King has brought smiles to Sabina Park. 50 runs off 30 balls with 16 ones, 4 fours and 3 sixes. Only 7 dot balls amongst those 30.
Here comes Ferguson now and bowls to Brooks. Brooks gets delivery that's on the line of the off stump, defends it. Back to Ferguson, who fields to his own bowling, and there's no run. I really like the look of Lucky Ferguson. Bowling at 139. My goodness.
Indeed, yes. He's very at his pace as well, and he's been bouncing the ball more than anybody we've seen for this entire series. West Indies now needing 53 from 52. Hard to see them blowing it from here, but I think from the batsman point of view, I think they'd be very happy just take it home if they could.
Yeah, you're right. 50 to King. Brooks has got 36 from 38. Here comes Ferguson now in his third over and bowls, and this delivery is driven beautifully through cover. But they won't get 4. There's a fielder on the cover boundary. In fact, they'll only get 1.
A bit uppish there by Brooks, not getting to the pitch of the ball. And in fact, the cover fielder, who's Conway and Williamson, having a dive, missing the ball. So it was a bit uppish, but I think in control. Right now, both these batsmen seeing the ball, as they say, as big as a breadfruit. And in T20, that makes it very hard for the field.
Misses it, beaten by for pace, taken by the keeper, dot ball.
Indeed, beaten by pace. A ball that was on off stump, trying to dab it off stump, but not a problem with that because there's enough bounce on it. There's no slip. In fact, there is a third man. He's trying to get it very fine. And you can see himself chat
at 1 as it goes to the long on area. He tailed away, and the shot was a good one. Nothing wrong with the shot at all, but with the fielder on the boundary, it was difficult to get a boundary.
Well, that was clocked at 144 kilometers per hour. It was a fast ball, and Brandon King, who I think wanted to hit it more towards mid-wicket, had to hurry the shot, got good contact, but that was a very quick ball.
Now, Doc, I've said this, and I've gotten persecuted for it, but I'll come back to it after this. I'll put the question to you. Here comes Ferguson now, and bowls to Brooks, and Brooks has turned this one nicely down to the back square leg boundary. The over ends. It's 1 to Shamar Brooks. It's now 96 without loss after 12.
King 51, Brooks 38. And that is, shouldn't Brandon King be opening the batting for the West Indies in Test cricket?
The reality is, you say you've been persecuted for that, now you're looking for company. But let's start with a very basic thing. Brandon King, by and large, is a 4-day or 5-day cricketer. And he has a very high first-class average, and he plays proper cricket, and he's made his runs batting at number 4. And at this stage in West Indies cricket, you should not juggle with somebody who's comfortable somewhere. Bring him in at the level that he should be at. Let him succeed there, and let other people succeed where they succeed. So I do not believe Brandon King necessarily is a good opener for short form of cricket, especially 50-over cricket. But he has to play where he plays. But he's predominantly a 4-day, 5-day red ball cricketer in the middle order.
All right, well, here comes Satner now and bowls to Brooks, and Brooks is looking to cut and misses, taken by the keeper. However, I do say to you that in the last season, I think it was 2020, I speak to correction, when they toured New Zealand, Brandon King opened the batting in the first-class matches. And that's when I thought that they were looking at him as opening batsman for the West Indies in that form of cricket. Short ball pulled down behind square, and just 1 run there taken, 98 now without loss.
So quite right, they're in New Zealand for the A-team tour,
yeah.
And at the same point I made before I make again, do not tinker with somebody when he's successful at a particular spot. He's a successful number 4, number 5, let him ground himself there before you move him around.
Here he comes in now and bowls, and this delivery is turned into the onside. Just 1 run. As the total now goes to 98. King's got 51 now, Brooks is on 39. King 52, correction. Brooks looking for his half century. He's still a little while away, 11 runs away. But this has been a very good response after being beaten by 90 runs in the last match. As Satner bowls, and there comes Brooks, gets a short ball, and he helps it in the air just over the backward point. Fielder is going to go down to the boundary. Will it get there? Whoa, that's going to be close. The fielder has pulled it back. However, they're going to be looking at that to see if he encroached the boundary line at all. The batsman get 3 in the meantime. But we'll wait to see if he did encroach that boundary, and we'll wait if the 100 now comes up. We'll wait to see if it's going to be 3 or 4.
Indeed, yes, 101 for no loss right now. The 100 partnership, in fact, the 100 partnership as an opening partnership after a very, very long time for the West Indies, especially in T20 cricket. But they're going to have a look at that. It was an uppish shot by Brooks, who really should not have perhaps played it in the air. But I think it's good feeling by the fielder who's just not made contact with the boundary, certainly not when he made contact with the ball. And so he saved himself 1 run, has Mitchell. He saved the team 1 run, has Darryl Mitchell. But a very, very good feeling, and showing the commitment that New Zealand has shown throughout the series.
Yeah, New Zealand were diving with 1 ball left, and the West Indies having no chance of winning in the last game. I don't think that encroached, just 3 runs. So 3 runs to Brooks. So King is on strike, and King is driving into the onside, just 1. So Brooks goes to 42, King goes to 53. It's 102 without loss. The Windies need 44 more from 43 balls, and just on par.
And for those interested, that 100 partnership coming off of 76 balls. So a very good clip, very good batting by both these batsmen. And of course, if they carry it home, I think the other batsmen will be very relieved because it's been a torrid series for them.
Here he comes in on balls to Brooks, and Brooks is driving pleasantly, but we used to call that back in at school a maiden shot, when you hit the ball so well but straight to field you can't get a run. The over ends, 13 overs gone, it's 102 without loss.
And a very unfamiliar sight of Santner's 4 overs, 0 for 30. So a bit more expensive than he normally is, and of course wicketless, which in the past 2 matches he took a wicket off the first ball that he bowled. So that's been quite a change there. But Brandon King getting 53 off 34 in that 102 run partnership, and Shamar Brooks 42 off 44. Now our monitor here is showing that it's off of 79 balls. The scoreboard is showing off of 76 balls. I'll go with the monitor, to be honest. But nonetheless, scintillating cricket here to, as we've said, a crowd that's probably bigger than the 2 crowds put together. Even the party stand is now filled out completely, and they're being justly rewarded by the West Indies, who showed very little fight in the last match, in what's probably not a very exciting contest in terms of the result, but exciting in terms of what the West Indies are showing and what they're showing they're capable of doing, something that we hadn't seen before. We'd seen a bit of fight in the rear guard of the first match, but the last match was woeful.
Yeah, it was indeed very woeful.
44 to win now off of 42 balls.
Here comes Southey now as he comes in and bowls to King. King gets a short ball, he's pulling it in the air, hasn't got a lot of legs. This is going to be a catch being offered, catch taken. So the wonderful innings of Brandon King comes to an end. He's gone for 53. Tim Southey gets the wicket, and the Windies have lost 1. They still need 42 from 40 balls, as Brandon King is the man to be dismissed at a particular time in a very close time for this game, but King is gone for 52.
Well, he's certainly done his work. I think he'd be very disappointed not to have finished off the game, but Brandon King getting a ball that bounced a little bit more than he expected, and therefore hitting it with the upper half of the bat, and that's what prevented it from going over the boundary. Instead it was Guptill who took the catch. 53 off 35 balls, or a strike rate of 115, which is very, very handy. 153 is it that the strike rate is, but what we're seeing now is the accomplished Devon Thomas. Now, accomplished at domestic cricket, yes, but as you pointed out before, his average is 9 in T20 cricket, and he's coming in number 3 for the West Indies, Devon Thomas.
I still don't understand why. Well, we got a very special guest in the box. Young Gavin, he's looking younger. Perhaps it's because of all the good food he's having from Kingston Jerk. But Gavin, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Doing all right. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful stuff. Well, we got to thank Kingston Jerk. They've been tremendous sponsors of this network. And Sabrina has done a tremendous job. I wanted to tell you, Gavin, thanks to Sabrina, she's been tremendously professional. You really have had a good staff.
Yes. I can't do it without her, actually.
Okay, well, look, it's going to be Southey now. Can they do it out to Devon Thomas, who's pulling sweetly. That's gone for 4. That's actually Shamar Brooks, because they crossed. So a short ball that was pulled well, actually into the Kingston club, where Kingston Jerk are perhaps selling all the food.
Right. The jerk chicken is keeping him for 4.
You look just like a gentleman we know in Barbados called Carlos Cox. Yes. I think you guys can pass your brothers.
Oh my God.
You same stature, same beard.
With the salt and pepper.
With the salt and pepper. Here comes Southey and bowls to Brooks, and Brooks gets a delivery that's tugged out to the long on area. That's just a delivery that was of no real merit. Did play it properly, and there's no run.
Well, Brooks is now on 46 off 46. He's looking for his half century, and you can see he's in a rhythm, timing the ball. And at this stage, I think he can just be excused if he takes time to get to the 50 instead of trying to play extravagant shots.
Well, we got to thank you, Gavin, for doing a great job of the sponsorship. It's gone a long way. People are coming to us and asking if we have shares in Kingston Jerk.
Listen to me. I'll soon be able to offer you guys that. Don't worry.
Here he comes in now, Southern Bowls. This delivery is wide, extremely wide and down the leg side, taken there by the keeper, 106-1. Yeah, you're thinking of having shares opening?
Yes, soon, very soon.
Yeah,
very soon.
So you have the outlet, of course, at Chelsea.
2 Chelsea Avenue, correct?
Yes, 2 Chelsea Avenue, and where else? Here.
Right, at the Kingston Cricket Club, correct.
Kingston Cricket Club. Fantastic stuff. Well, we want to thank you for your great sponsorship. I know Andrew's going to have you on just after my stint to discuss it a little bit more. You know, Andrew loves these things in his sponsorship. He's been almost a glutton eating your food. As this delivery is down the leg side and turned out to the mid-wicket area. And there's just another run there for Shamar Brooks. He goes to 47. How well has he batted, Doc?
Very well, in fact, because he started off tentatively the ball, playing the balls on his leg side across with cross bats and not quite negotiating. He's just built his innings. Once again, 47 off 47, showing that he made up for those slow start, But no, he's looking so confident. And as I said, he can be excused if he just walks to his 50 right now, because the West Indies are in a pretty position. 38 needed from 38 balls.
Devon Smith, 15 matches, averages 9.49, batting at number 4. Here comes Southey now and bowls to Thomas, and Thomas is getting one on the line of the off stump, defends it, plays into the onside, and there's no run. 38 from 38. It's a run a ball situation here for the West Indies. Can they do it, Doc?
Well, I think that they're seated very comfortably. Brandon King has given them the sort of springboard that they need. There's no pressure now because, as you say, it's just over 6 runs and over, literally a run a ball. And with that, you'd think that the singles are something they'd think about instead of hitting the ball in the air. And that's really what I want to see.
So here comes Southey now with just 1 ball left in over number 14. He runs in and bowls to Thomas, and Thomas is punching this beautifully. But he'll only get 1 out to the cover point area. Conway and Williamson is there, the captain. The over comes to the end. Thomas will maintain the strike. The latest score after 14 is 109 for 1. The Windies need 37 from 36 with Brooks well in charge. 100% strike rate. He's got 47 from 47.
Southey now having bowled 3 overs, 1 for 28 once again. 7 runs coming off that last over, and unfamiliar territory for the New Zealand bowlers who are getting wickets with regularity. The spinners were the ones who were causing most of the damage. They've not touched the wicket column today at all. So the only successful bowler, having had Brandon King out playing an attacking shot. He didn't beat him through the air. He didn't beat him because of pace. He just had Brandon King play the ball in the air and get caught in the deep. So the West Indies certainly a far more commanding performance today. And with Brooks on 47 off 47, he certainly will be looking to get his half century pretty soon.
Here he comes in again now and bowls, and this delivery is pulled in the air out to deep mid wicket. Is that going to go for 4? Yes, it does. So Devon Thomas gets a boundary. It was short and it was pulled into the gap. Conway and Williamson was running around, but he really didn't have a chance. It was wide of him, and Devon Thomas gets a 4 as the West Indies continue to motor along. They need now 20. What? They need 32, is it? I reckon 32 from 35. Yeah.
Well, Ishtar is having a terrible day today. He's just not able to maintain.
Poorly.
Fielded poorly, and that ball was very short, as he's bowled before too. Now, he did bowl with a bit more air before and got hit for 2 sixes by Brandon King, and that just shook him up completely.
As the plane crosses in the distance, this delivery again is on land the all-stop. That's a fighter jet, isn't it?
I was going to say, that's not just a plane. That looks like Andrew Mason's private jet.
Well, it's moving quickly. He doesn't move quickly, so unlikely that's his jet.
Lovely toddy, boy.
If Andrew said he's going to collect Donald Trump, perhaps the FBI agent is on that as well. 113 for 1. Here he comes in again, bowls. This one is driven, hit high, hard in the air, no legs on it at all. Conway Williamson sells under it, catch taken, and Devon Thomas goes. That average of 9.49 continues to go down from 16 matches now. The number 4 Windies batsman, and the Windies now with 32 needed now from some 34 balls, have lost another wicket.
And that's the thought process I'm talking about. Here's a person who's struggling at this level, needs a run of ball, does not need to hit that ball in the air. The ball was Ish Sodhi, who's perhaps the least successful or least consistent bowler of New Zealand, and he should have just stayed there and worked his way in and worked his average further up, if nothing else. There's no need to play that ball in the air, getting caught up with it with the rush of blood, and of course, you know, people say, well, he made 5 out of 5 and that's his strike rate of 100. Who cares?
That's why I never get carried away with strike rates.
Indeed.
Strike rates do not necessarily tell a story. Look, Nicholas Puran got 19 from, I think, 8 in one of these matches. had a strike rate of 160.
Who cares?
But it contributed nothing to the game. So I don't get carried away with strike rates.
Absolutely, unless you have a good average to go with
the
it.
good old averages and runs are still the two most important things in cricket. Strike rates tell some of the story, not all.
Rovman Powell now, captain of the day. Perhaps the most successful T20 captain West Indies has. Or did he captain in Bangladesh? He was captain, but I think that was for the one-day series, was it not?
Yeah, that was for the one-day series.
Exactly, yeah.
That was for one-day
so
series.
Rovman Powell comes, but they would have crossed, of course, and so it's going to be... well, did they cross?
No. Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
cross.
they did, yeah.
It's Brooks.
Yeah, yeah.
Brooks on strike. Sony balls to Brooks, who's getting a short ball and pulls it along the ground, perhaps showing Devon Thomas what he should have done. Brooks gets one to keep his strike rate to 100%, 48 from 48. The Windies need now a runner ball, 32 from 32.
And of course, we'd heard that the selectors were using this series as a way of gauging people for the World Cup squad. With that shot from Devon Thomas and with his performance, I don't know if he's going to be one of the favourites for that World Cup later on.
Not for the West Indies, for sure. However, it's going to be the captain on strike, Powell. Here comes Sodium balls to Powell, and Powell is on the front foot, defends it, and taken there by the keeper. One ball left in over number 15. Gavin is going to stay with Andrew and Andy as well. Andy, of course, is thinking of opening a jerk centre in New Zealand, and that will do very well. New Zealand have so many nice spots for that kind of food as well. In Nelson, yeah. As this delivery again is on the off stump, pushed into the cover area. There's no run. The over ends. It's the West Indies 114 for 2 after 15. They need 32 from 30. Andrew Mason is going to come to tell you all about it.
And the required run rate, as you heard, 6.4 right now. Very comfortable. Brooks on 48 off 48, just looking for that half century, which is well deserved if he gets to it and when he gets to it. But the New Zealand bowlers with very unfamiliar rates of 9.33 economy rate by Tim Southee, Anish Sodhi 7.5 by Santner off his 4 overs, Bracewell going for 7 and over, and only Lockie Ferguson with 3 overs for 9 runs, showing any sort of distinguished figures in that figure there. So a good return here by the West Indies, who I think would really feel that they've done the crowd a pleasure. Now remember, we said had New Zealand won, it would have been 5 consecutive sweeps for them, whitewashes. I don't think that's on the cards today.
Well, you never know, of course. You never know in this form of the match. But anyway, it's going to be Lockie Ferguson again to take up the attack as Andrew Mason takes up the commentary.
Well, he comes in now on his way to bowl to Brooks into this delivery. Brooks is turning the ball away. Might have been some pattern to that. It was on the leg. So let's look at the umpire. It goes down towards backward square. Umpire Duguid comes across, and when he signals, yes, he does now. The man from Georgetown, Guyana. Hello to all of our friends in Guyana. Of course, this is on NCN Radio. Mr. Roddy Beard, the technical director. Mr. Pearson and those wonderful people up there ensuring that the commentaries are heard across Guyana, from Essequibo right through to Georgetown and my favorite place, Robb Street. Hello to all of our friends there in Kitty. Here we go, 115 for the loss of 2. Ferguson comes up now, bowls to Paul. Paul is forward and drives well. Passman off, lovely shot, 4 runs. Oh, that was a beauty, pitched up. Mind you, New Zealand with the gamble of having the man at mid-off and the man at middle, no protection on the boundary, and he found that little space between extra cover and mid-off with surgical precision. That's gone for 4. What a wonderful shot to start the approach from the West Indies captain. Well played.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful shot there from Powell. New Zealand got 5 men inside the circle, but he still beat the inner ring.
Ferguson again comes up now, bowls to Paul. Paul is forward, opens the face of the bat, runs it down towards the third man area for a single. So the countdown is on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 26 more from 27 balls, 120 for 2. Where's your money, Andy? In your pocket, of course.
I don't have much money, Andrew.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
What little money I have. Actually, just as an aside for listeners, 1 New Zealand dollar is 100 Jamaican dollars.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Here we go. As it's going to be Ferguson. Comes up now on his way. In Bosa Brooks. Ball short of a length. Brooks on the back foot. Strokes the ball away into the offside down to cover. For a single. He goes to 49 now. And I would imagine that my friends at Spartan, Harold Eastman and company, Dave Yama Marshall, the former Barbados spinner leg spinner, will be glued to their radios listening to the performances of Brooks. They love him. They love him like the big Julie mangoes you get in, of course, Jamaica. I love the ackee, the saltfish, and the living, the banana. Always good to come to Jamaica. Jamaica land we love. Ferguson comes up now, bowls to Paul. Paul is forward. He's a Jamaican and plays the ball away into the offside down to cover. So 25 from 25 balls. Gavin, are you enjoying this?
Enjoying it a lot, Andrew.
Indeed. All right. Well, next time we come, we'll have you to do some commentaries. Barry Wilkinson will be the judge. And, of course, Vic McFarlane will be the chief judge and will judge you. 121 for 1. Let me remind you, 25 to get from 25. The wickets are in the bag, but you never know. Good over can set some panic. Here's Ferguson. Last ball of over number 16 comes in. Bowls to Paul. Paul opens the face of the bat and very skillfully plays the ball down to third man to get a run to end the over. At the end of over number 16, Powell is 6, Brooks is 49, 122 for the loss of 2 is the latest score at Sabina Park.
And this has been a really good innings by Shamar Brooks, 49 off 50 balls. He's anchored the innings, if you like, with King being the aggressor early on, whilst they had that partnership together opening the batting. But I like Brooks. I've watched him a few times now, including when I was in Pakistan in June for the one-day series there. He looks very assured, has shots all around the wicket, and apart from that hideous shot he played against Mitchell Satner the other day when he got bowled off the first ball that Satner bowled, he looks a quality player.
Well, it's going to be so to continue in bowl short of a length, and the captain goes back and forces the ball away. That's Paul down towards that long on area for 1. So as we continue to tell the countdown is on, 123 for loss of 2. And when they win, they're going to be going to Kingston for Kingston Jerk. I'm sure that Gavin is going to provide them with some lovely stuff there. Absolutely. And they deserve it. We're going to bring Barry Wilkinson. We can even bring the Pastor Manning, Bishop Manning, and we're going to have some fun. Here's Sodis. He comes up now. He's into both to Brooks is 49, and Brooks is cutting. The ball goes by to be taken by the keeper. I hope the West Indies, from their perspective, don't get this too close. You got to be careful. 23 to get from 22 balls. So 123 for loss of 2. They should go on to win. Gavin, don't you think West Indies should win?
Absolutely. I'm rooting for them this match.
Yeah, I think they should win.
They should win.
You never know. Sometimes small scores can give trouble. 123 for loss of 2 over number 17. Here's Sodi and Bowles off the back foot, forced away, down to backward point, and Shamar Brooks gets those 50. Beautiful batting from this elegant player on the back foot and stroking the ball away down to backward point. He raises the bat in acknowledgement. His maiden 50, and we want to thank him for that because I thought he batted with a lot of skill. So Brooks is 50, the West Indies in pursuit of 146 for victory. In over number 17, they're 124 for loss of 2. Well played, Shamar Brooks.
Yeah, very well played, hasn't he? Like, run a ball, not a big total, but he's kept the scoreboard moving.
So he's in balls, and there's a drive over extra cover, out towards the boundary, has the leg to get there, yes! And it scatters some pigeons on the far side of the ground. They're going up to the Norman Manley International maybe to take a flight to Barbados. But the ball has gone out to cover. That's gone for 4. He reached for it. And the captain leading by example, reminding you that he's got to win this game for the West Indies. And that stroked away through cover. That's gone for 4. Paul goes to 11, 18 from 20 now. Here is Sodi, comes in bowls. He's swinging the ball away. Up to mid wicket. 1 only. Dragged outside the line of the off stump up to make it. Gets a run. So that means that Paul will go up to 12. Brooks is 50. 129 for 2. Let me continue to tell you the countdown is on. 17 to get from 19 balls. The West Indies with their noses in front. 1 to come in over number 17. They should win this. Sodi to continue. He's going to bowl his last ball of the match. Comes into Shamar Brooks. He's in balls to Brooks. Brooks is on the back foot. Plays the ball firmed up to long on. Lovely intelligent shot. Of course the boundary came in the over, and that kind of stopped the pressure. So when you do that, you're able to work the ball around and pick up the singles. And in fact, some 8 runs came from the over. So as we come down to the happy hour, 130 for loss of 2 is the latest score at Sabina Park. Andy.
Isn't the atmosphere today great, Andrew? I went out into the stand when I was off commentary before, and every single run that was scored was cheered by the crowd, whether it's a single or a boundary. The music's really nice. Today just has a great feel to it. It's kind of what I expected when I came to the Caribbean, whereas the first 2 matches on weekdays were a little quiet. The Jamaicans have come out on Sunday. Maybe some have travelled from outside Kingston to come here, and they've been absolutely treated today with a brilliant performance by the West Indies, who've got absolutely no chance of losing this now.
Well, of course, there are 14 parishes in Jamaica, I'm told by Gavin. As it's Saudi coming into the attack. He's in balls outside the leg stump. Is that going to be called a wide? No, the umpire says no. Of course, there's a Clarendon Hanover. That's the parish of the Bronze Queen Merlin Naughty. Am I right? Hanover?
You're absolutely right.
Absolutely right. Of course, you got Manchester, Kingston, Portland, St Andrew, St Catherine, St Elizabeth, St James, St Mary, Trelawney, and Westmoreland. I don't think I missed any. No, I didn't, of course. In fact, there's always a big debate as to which is the big parish. In fact, when I first came to Jamaica, they told me it was St Catherine's, then I was told it was St Anne. In the meantime, Saudi comes up now. He's in balls. A ball which is rapping the batsman, found a big appeal for leg before his Brooks plays across it. Struck on the pad, and there's no run. Let me look at that. Gavin, are you getting a bit nervous, 16 from 16?
No, I'm not nervous.
You're not nervous?
No, I'm not.
All right.
I'm confident in the recipes of Kingston Jerk and the West
I
Indies.
would think so as well.
Actually, you mentioned St Anne's Parish. Yesterday when I went to
you went to St Andrews?
No. Robert Nestor Marley was born in St Anne's Parish.
Oh, yeah, indeed. All right. Wonderful. Yes. And, of course, Gavin tells me, just sent me a note, he's the most popular Jamaican of all time. Is that right, Gavin?
He is indeed.
He is indeed. No one is close to him.
Usain Bolt is close.
Okay.
Definitely close.
All right. 130 for loss of 2. Here we go. Saudi starts his run again. 16 from 16. Comes up now. Brooks. Brooks is forward and drives up to mid-off. Will they get the run? They do. Lovely flowing shot up to mid-off. He gets a run to go to 51 now. 15 from 15 balls. And the action continues. How long did you form Kingston Jerk?
2 years now.
2 years now. It's going pretty well?
It's going excellent.
Excellent.
And Andy mentioned it's $1 New Zealand to 100 Jamaican dollars.
Oh.
So it's 10 New Zealand dollars for
right.
a chicken.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Interesting.
That is pretty good.
Interesting. Yeah. 131 for 2. Here is Saudis. He starts with over number 18. Comes up now on his way to both to Paul. And Paul is whipping the ball away. That's gone away for 6 runs. Over the wide now on there. A tremendous risk in that shot. For me, that may be the shot of the match. And the one that will see the West Indies home. And the captain leading by example. Recognizing the importance of the captain's role in this exercise. And he whips it high over the wide long on here for 6. Well played, Mr. Powell. 9 to get from 14. The gap is getting even wider. And the West Indies in horse racing terms, they're kicking for home. Here's Saudi. Comes up now. Inbounds to Powell. Powell covers up. Plays the one up towards Bidon and takes off for the run. Batting with a washpan of common sense. After hitting the 6, you put the pressure back on the bowler and he just works it neatly up towards that Bidon there for 1. So Paul has led the West Indies team very well. He's on 19 from 11. Brooks is 52 from 40. 56 balls. And the equation now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 8 to get from 13 balls. And the action continues. Here we go. The action continues as he comes up now. Saudi in balls and whipped away by Brooks out towards that square leg area for 1. Easy like Sunday morning and a Sunday afternoon. Worked away for 1. 7 to get from 12. At the end of over number 18, the West Indies are cooking good looking at Sabina Park. They're 139 for 2, which is the latest score.
And Tim Southey finishing there with 1 for 37 off his 4 overs. A fairly tidy spell. But he does get hit a bit, Tim Southey, and that 6 by Powell, that sailed into the second tier of the North Stand. So that's probably the second biggest 6 we've seen in the series. Jimmy Neesham's coming into the attack now. I think this will be his first bowl of the series, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he's going to bowl to Brooks, who's anchored the end expertly. He comes up now on his way for the sub then. Bowls to Brooks. Brooks is off the back foot and forces the ball away out towards cover. They will look for the second run here. Will they come back for it? Yes, they will. A lovely flowing drive. It's always so good to see the Brooks type batsman play this level of cricket. I mean, of course, T20 is all about slugging for a lot of people. When you get a batsman who's so languid in this batting, it looks so good. You leave your rice and peas to come and watch him bat. And he stroked that out to cover. Back for the second. Shamar Brooks goes to 55, 5 to get from 11 balls. The West Indies almost home. Here is Neesham, comes in both to Brooks. Brooks is driving and driving well. That looks so elegant. A bit of the Lawrence Rowan, that shot. He just strokes the ball away to the offside down to cover. He's always very pleasing in the eyes, Shamar Brooks. He's on 56. Paul is with him. He is on 19. 4 to get from 10. And the West Indies are about to raid the barn like Anthony B. You know that, don't you? Of course.
Gavin, who do you reckon will be man of the match?
That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one.
Who is the man of the match?
Because
of course.
On the back end, the anchoring was good.
Well, so we're down to 4 now to get from 10 balls. 4 to get from 10. Here we go. As Paul waits and is getting the ball in the legs and works the ball away up towards that American terrier. Ball by Neesham, and he can't score. So 9 balls are left. 4 runs to get. He could do it with the boundary, and I would imagine that they're going to be dancing in the streets across Kingston, Jamaica, right through to Barnett Street in Mobay.
No, there's dancing to Kingston Jerk. That's fine.
Oh, and dancing to Kingston Jerk as well. I'm sure they're going to be energized with that.
A 6, though.
I reckon it's going to be a 6 as well.
So 4 to get. Here is Neesham. Comes up now. Inbounds to Paul. Paul is off the back foot. Bangs the ball away. Down to backward point. It looked as if it would go to the boundary. He'll come back for the second. He gets home. He knows that he may even want to come for the third, but decides against it. So there's a roar around the ground because we are in a situation where the West Indies require just 2 for victory. 8 balls are left, and all of Gavin's money, all of Andy's money, firm than the West Indies should win. 144 for 2, and this will be a victory that will make the West Indians smile as broad as Ligony in Kingston. Here we go. 144 for loss of 2. 2 to get. Hello to all of you wherever you are. Listen to the broadcast. Here we go. It's Paul, the captain. He's on 21. 2 to get. As Neesham comes in and boasts him. Short, and he swings at it down the leg side. The umpire's going to call a wide. No. He decides that there is no wide. The umpire, Gregory Brathwaite, and screaming in the back is Barry Wilkinson saying that should have been called a wide. Would you have called it a wide, Andy?
It looked like it was down leg side, didn't it? It was short.
It was
I think maybe the umpire was the fact that it was a bouncer, the fact that it was a short ball probably put him off. But I thought it was a leg side wide.
Here we go. Still 2 to get. In comes Neesham up to the wicket now. Balls to Paul. Paul is swinging the ball away. Where's that ball? That's gone to the party stand. And what a way to win the match! Sabina Park is jumping. Powell has won the game for the West Indies by 8 wickets with a brutal shot over the mid-wicket area into the party stand. Brilliant, excellent, superb. The West Indies win by 8 wickets.
And that's just such a comprehensive victory by the West Indies, shown by the fact they've won by 8 wickets. But I don't think it's just that. I think it's the manner in which they've played this match. They bowled extremely well right throughout the innings. Rovman Powell made good bowling changes, and they benefited hugely from having Akil Hussain in the side today. So they read the pitch conditions well. And in some ways they've made a bit of a mockery of New Zealand's batting performance, because New Zealand throughout their innings, first of all, they didn't get anyone getting more than I think 24 was Phillips top scored, but aside from Phillips, players made starts but weren't able to kick on, and they just seemed to lack timing, whereas we just didn't see that at all with the West Indies performance. King and Brooks opening the batting were absolutely superb, basically battered New Zealand out of the game, and Powell came in there with a cameo and probably proving that he could bat a lot higher in the order normally. So he came in at 4 today. Just a reminder, he captained the side today with Nicholas Pooran being rested, and that was a quality performance by the West Indies, and it's going to give them such a boost heading into the one-day series starting in Barbados next week. And so as the players shake hands, there's going to be a lot more smiles on the West Indian faces than we've seen in recent times. And yeah, what a blessing it is for Rovman Powell. He's going to get to do the post-match interview with a win, and I just kind of feel a little bit sorry for Nicholas Pooran, who's had to do the job for most matches in recent times, commenting on losses. But what a joy for the crowd here today. Much bigger than we've seen. There's probably a few thousand in here, I would have thought, and that party stand's been full all day with the Caribbean. And so, yeah, great all-round performance by the West Indies. I thought they made a great decision to have more strike bowlers today. They had Joseph in the side and they had Drakes. Both of them bowled really well. And as I mentioned, the two spinners did a superb job as well. And so now I guess it's time for the after-match presentations, and it'll be interesting to see who gets man of the match here. I would say it's got to be one of the batsmen. I mean, this has got to be almost a case of having a joint man of the match with King and Brooks.
One would think so. We'll just have to wait and see. But let's thank, before we go to the presentation, of course, Gavin. It's been absolutely wonderful. I go home tomorrow to prepare for the games in Barbados. We want to thank, of course, National as well for providing some wonderful stuff for us. ctsport.tv. And once again, we want to thank you at Kingston Jerk.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, guys. I mean, before you guys get home tomorrow, I'd love if you guys pass by tonight.
Okay, we will certainly pass by tonight. We're going to bring Andy, and we're going to have a good time. Just before you go, though,
talk to me.
It's been there for 2 years, and you've done pretty well. It's known all over Kingston, isn't it?
Correct. I mean, I actually bought a location in the middle of COVID.
In the middle of COVID?
That was that was the risk.
Oh, the risk.
I took that plunge, and it has been doing well.
Did you get a good deal, Gavin?
Yeah, I got a COVID.
Oh, wonderful, he said indeed. Wonderful indeed. Well, Gavin, it's been an absolute pleasure. Barry Wilkinson is making his order. He's going to have some jerk chicken this evening.
Yes.
I'm going to have some as well. And jerk pork as well.
Andy, look out for that.
Andy, look out for that. Thanks, Gavin.
Thanks for
having me,
guys.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah,
well,
man, you too.
We're preparing for the presentation. As I said, of course, is very, very broad indeed. And in fact, Dr. Mansing comes to call in. Andy has certainly been talking a lot about the man of the match. Who's your man of the match, Dr. Mansing?
Well, for me, it would be Brandon King. And it would be Brandon King because he set the pace with some very good batting, set a tempo which allowed when he departed for the rest of the team to just carry it home. I think Shamar Brooks obviously bowled well as well. He outscored Brandon King, scoring 56 off 59 balls. But it was the Brandon King century at a strike rate of almost 150 that I thought, half century, sorry, at a strike rate of 150 that I think was the defining moment. Now, the bowlers bowled well. In fact, Odin Smith, ending up with his best bowling performance in T20 internationals, and we hear this recurrently. He had the best one last week Sunday, then he betted it on Wednesday, and he's bested it, if you want, with 3 for 29 off 4 today. So 3 for 29 off 4 gives him an opportunity to be man of the match. Brandon King 53 off 35, and Shamar Brooks 56 off 59. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I guess I'd probably go with that as well. I think Brandon King probably deserves it. He was really the master blaster, if you like, at the top of the order, and he basically battered New Zealand out of the game. The highest scoring batsman for New Zealand was Glenn Phillips with 41, but beyond that, obviously it's not going to go to someone in the New Zealand team because they just got thrashed. But I'd probably go with King. And but what do you make of the performance overall, Doc?
Well, I think it's a good ending to a dead match. I mean, the New Zealanders had won it already. As we'd said before, had New Zealand won this, it would have been the 5th consecutive whitewash that they would have inflicted. And had the West Indies lost it would have been the longest losing streak by the West Indies. So both of those were snapped. But of importance is that 4 changes were made for the West Indies team, and all 4 of them turned up today and performed. Number 2, Trent Boult was missing, but the truth is that it was the spinners who won the matches for New Zealand in the past 2 days, or the past 2 matches, and they were the same spinners who were ineffective today. So I think from that point of view, it was nice to see a fight, and that's what everybody wanted to see, a fight by the West Indies. We've seen that today, and they're victorious. But New Zealand, of course, we must commend them for the level of cricket, the professionalism, the entertainment, because their innings when they batted was entertaining. It was sensible T20 cricket, and when they bowled, certainly in the last 2 days, the last 2 matches, they bowled and just bowled the West Indies out of the match very, very early. So congratulations to New Zealand for not only winning the series but for playing very good T20 cricket, and congratulations to the West Indies for turning up today.
Yeah, so we're just waiting now for the post-match presentation out there on the ground. Both sets of teams just standing out there. Maybe they're still trying to work out who's going to be man of the match, because I would have thought we would have started by now. But I just wonder too, Doc, bringing in a new player like they did with Brandon King, and who hasn't been kind of tarred by the previous losses in the last 2 games, I think that makes a huge difference.
And so for the other 3 as well, because Dominic Drake's bowled very, very well.
Yes.
We'd seen Obed McCoy, who was left out of this game, get some wickets, but he was very expensive. Jason Holder looked jaded.
Yeah.
But he was replaced.
He was rested recently, though.
But he was rested, but he just looked jaded. I'm not saying due to tiredness or whatever. I'm just saying he looked jaded. What didn't have that spark in him. Akil Hossain, but before I go to him, Alzari Joseph bowled very well. He was very, very unlucky to have 2 sitters dropped off of him and then being thrashed for boundaries, 2 successive balls after that consecutively. So he bowled very well. Akil Hossain inexplicably hasn't featured in this series. And he bowled extremely well as well.
Well, the other thing to say is that, you know, with Brooks making runs today, Powell's cameo, King making runs, and of course Shea Hope come back into the side for the one-day internationals, who's an extremely good player who averages 50 in one-day cricket. That just makes that top order look a little bit more solid.
Yes, I think 50 overs cricket is probably going to be a bit better in terms of the performance of the batsmen, because West Indies have struggled to bat 50 overs for 12 years. But you know, in the last few matches we've seen where they've actually come out with a plan, they've batted the 50 overs and they've scored pretty well as well. They're almost beat India twice in the 50 over match. But we're going to go to Darren Ganga now for the presentation, and over to you.
Powell as well, captain of the team. I must also specially commend Conway and Williamson and New Zealand for winning the series 2-1. Cricket West Indies would like to thank the official sponsors of the series: Betway, CG United, Fan Craze, MasterCard and Blue Waters. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Courtney Francis, CEO Jamaica Cricket Association, who will present the award for the player of the match. And there were quite a few strong contenders: Udeen Smith, Akil Hussain, but the winner of this award is Brandon King for his innings of 53 from 35, a partnership of 102 with Shamar Brooks, and a strike rate of 151, a match-winning innings, you can say, as he receives his check, and we'll have a chat with him. Brandon, first, congratulations on your award. How special was this innings for you?
Yeah, obviously very special being able to do this at home in front of everybody. The support was incredible. My family is here and I'm very happy that I was able to do it.
The last time you scored a half century, it was against India, and the West Indies went on to win as well. Is that a positive trend that you're attempting to achieve more consistently?
Yeah, of course. I think consistency is the key when you're a batsman. You try to do that, especially opening the innings. You want to give your team a good start. Today, credit must be given to the bowlers. They did an excellent job for us, restricting them, and made my job that much easier.
Yeah, you talk about the bowlers doing well, 145. What was the message from your captain and that brain's trust in your team before you started the run chase?
Yeah, I mean, my job for the team is the same no matter what total we're chasing. You know, try to get the team off to a good start, come out to the power play in a good position, and we did that today. You know, no wickets lost, so we had a very good base to press on.
The last time the West Indies produced an opening partnership in excess of 100 in T20 internationals was way back in 2020. A word on your opening partner, Shamar Brooks, and how he assisted you in your success?
Yeah, I think Brookie played excellent today as well. He understands the momentum of the game and didn't take any unnecessary risk, and he batted well together.
How does this innings and this win for the West Indies set things up for this upcoming ICC T20 World Cup?
Yeah, obviously, you know, leading up to the World Cup, we want to play well in T20s, and it's good that, you know, the last game of this series we had an all-round game and the team did very well.
Well, it was excellent to see you back today. Congratulations and all the very best.
Thank you very much.
That was Brandon King, player of the match for this third T20 International. I'd now like to call on the winning captain, Rovman Paul, to come forward. If you can just stand this way, Rovman. First, congratulations. Yes, standing captain for the West Indies. But in your view, what was so special about this win?
I think as a boy you dream, it's a pleasure playing for West Indies, and to imagine captaining in front of my home crowd, you know, that's a special feeling. You know, last night I talked to the guys and I asked them for their support, and they give me that today.
A very different bowling complement today for this third T20 International. Would you say it was a more competitive group of bowlers going into this last and final T20 International?
No, I think it's clarity. You know, we sat and we talked last night about how hot the place is, so I don't want the pace bowlers to be bowling 2-3 over on the trot. So that's why I chop and change, 1 over for the pace bowlers, 1 over for the spinners, you know, just to keep them fresh and keep the New Zealand batters thinking.
What about the crowd here on the grass bank? You're playing in front of your crowd. Did that contribute towards the 3 Jamaicans performing well today?
Yeah, definitely. Last night we talked about it and we talked saying more people will come in today, and they did. You know, we just want to extend our thanks to the fans for coming out and supporting us even when the series is dead.
Talking about those 2 Jamaicans, one in particular led the run chase, Brandon King. A word on him and that partnership he had with Shamar Brooks.
Yeah, I think Brandon has been batting very, very well. And we said that to him, it's just unfortunate that he couldn't play the first 2 games. You know, Shamar, I think, complement him very good. In one going aggressive and one just taking it over. I think it was a fantastic display of batting from both of them.
Finally, I know you have a good relationship with Nicholas Pooran. Will there be a cheeky word about this success that you've had as against what he's enjoyed in this series?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we'll have a little chat about it, you know, and just laugh about it.
Well, great to see you perform today. All the very best.
Thanks,
Congrats
man.
again.
Yeah.
That was Rovman Paul, the captain of the West Indies. Now I'd like to introduce Mr. Wilford Billy Heaven, Director, Cricket West Indies and President of the Jamaica Cricket Association. He will present the award for the Player of the Series, and that award goes to Glenn Phillips, the New Zealand middle order batsman, who amassed 134 runs at an average of 44 and at a strike rate of 171.
Thank you.
Of course, Glenn, no stranger to Jamaica. He would have played for the Jamaica Tallowers. Glenn, congratulations to you. How special is this award for you?
I think from having a few years playing it, it's very special to me to be able to come to Sabina and to be able to score some runs and in front of a very incredible crowd. You know, I love playing here. It's a great place, great people, and you know, it's good that we put on a show for them.
When we look at middle order batting success in T20 cricket since 2000, you rank right up there with the very best. What's the secret for your success batting in that position and being so consistent?
I think the ability to know exactly what the situation is when you come in and being able to back your skill set. For me, I know if I can clear the ropes, then I don't have to necessarily worry about dot balls too much. It gives me the freedom to be able to work the ball around in the middle overs. And when we've got such a strong tail lineup, you know, we've got Niche to follow, Satna, now Beast as well. It really gives you the confidence to be able to express yourself right through the middle.
New Zealand would have wanted to win today and achieve a clean sweep. That didn't happen. Where did you think you lost this one today?
I think there's always little fine margins. We've been putting the icing on the cake for the last couple of weeks really, really well, and I think that maybe was potentially the little bit that let us down today. But on another day, normally we'd put it on there right nice and easy. So, and they bowled really well today, I think.
So tough luck today. Congratulations on your award, and I'm sure this is going to put you in good stead for the ODIs to come.
Cheers. Thanks, Darren.
That was our player of the series, Glenn Phillips. Now time for the New Zealand captain, Conway and Williamson. Of course, success for Kane once again in the series, taking it 2-1. Kane, I'm going to ask you a similar question. Today things didn't go that well for you. Where you felt you lost this one?
Yeah, firstly, congrats to the West Indies for the way they played. You know, they adapted to the conditions nicely, and with the bat, we sort of felt if we get another 15 or so, get a little bit of momentum, but they were able to take wickets throughout, and they executed their plans beautifully, and did the same thing in the second innings as well, and we couldn't open up an end with the ball. We knew that 140, things would have to go pretty well for us with the ball, and you know, they outplayed us today. But having said that, the effort was there, and you know, it was great to get the series win and play some good cricket as well.
Despite the loss, of course, a feather in your cap once again, a series win for you as captain. You started this sojourn as captain way back in 2016, across formats for New Zealand. How challenging it is for you to carry that sort of role over such a long period of time?
Yeah, it's busy, but there's a lot of enjoyment in playing in this group, and there's a number of leaders in the side as well, and so, you know, it's been great to see the team progress and put out better performances, and that's where our focus is at.
And this was a strategic tournament for you, looking towards that ICC T20 World Cup
Did you achieve your strategic goals in this series?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's that World Cup in the back of your mind, but having said that, you need to focus on what's in front of you, and you know, that's what we were trying to do. Obviously we sort of rotated a little bit, but we wanted to make sure we were going out and executing our plans, whoever was on the park, and we saw some really good stuff there, which was great. Now we move on to the one-day series.
Yeah, well, we wish you very well in that one-day series. A bittersweet moment for you losing this last game, but winning the series. Congratulations to you. I'll ask you to go over and join Mr. Wilford Billy Heaven, Director Cricket West Indies, who will present the trophy now to you and give you the chance to celebrate. Congratulations, New Zealand.
All right, so there you have it. The West Indies team winning today, but the New Zealand side winning the series 2-1. Of course, Andy's with us. We're going to wrap it pretty soon. But Andy, congratulations to New Zealand, and they deserve to win it overall.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. I think there's not really any surprise there. I think if you'd said at the start of the series, who do you think's going to win, I doubt many people would have picked the West Indies to win this series, just simply because they've got such an inexperienced side, whereas, as I've mentioned a few times now, 6 of the New Zealand side was here in 2014 when we played here last time in Dominica. So yeah, great win, great series win for New Zealand. But most importantly, what a great win by the West Indies today, and nice to see Chris Gale down there on the field and shaking hands with the players. Of course, he knows plenty of them from IPL and other T20 leagues, and obviously he played against a lot of the New Zealanders during his career. But yeah, just thrilled for the West Indies, Andrew, thrilled for the crowd that came here today, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down at all in the party stand. I think the party's going to go on for a little bit longer yet.
Indeed, and lots to party about, there's no doubt about that, with the West Indies winning. So let's look back quickly
As to what happened, New Zealand, of course, won the toss. They chose to bat, and they were kind of stifled by the West Indies, won 45 for 7. But that man, then Phillips, 41 from 26 balls with 4 fours and 2 sixes was the star. Got support from Williamson, who made 24, and Conway made 21. 145 for 7 in 20 overs, and good bowling by the West Indies. Drakes was good, 4 overs, no batters, 1 for 19. Joseph, 4 overs, no batters, done for 35. Hossein, 4 overs, no batters, 2 for 28. Shepherd, 2 overs, no batters, done for 18. Smith, 4 overs, no batters, 3 for 29, got it right. And Walsh, 2 overs, no batters, 1 for 16. The assignment for the West Indies was to get 146, and they went about it very intelligently. And in the final analysis, you have to give them credit for some good batting, led by Brooks and King at the top. King making 53 from 35 balls, 4 fours and 3 sixes. And Shamar Brooks anchored the innings. I thought he batted very well, lovely flowing shots from a good player. He made 56 from 59 balls, and he struck 3 fours and 2 sixes. And towards the end, it was the captain leading by example. Rodman Paul came out and actually won the game with a huge hit over mid-wicket for 6, and that really excited the taste buds at Sabina Park. His 27 was made with the pace of Usain Bolt. In fact, it was only 15 balls, and he had 2 fours and 2 sixes. And before you could say Jamaica land we love, the West Indies had won 150 for 2 in 19 overs. And in terms of the bowling, it was Bracewell 2 overs, no batters, done for 14. Sankner 4 overs, no batters, done for 30. Saudi 4 overs, no batters, 1 for 37. Ferguson bowled with some pace, I thought was the best bowler. 4 overs, no batters, done for 16. Saudi 4 overs, no batters, 1 for 36. And Nisham 1 over, which cost 11 runs. So final scores then, New Zealand win the toss and batting 145 for 7. And in response to West Indies doing very well, 150 for 2 in 19 overs. And that old lady in halfway tree is shouting, the West Indies were sweet to the belly like Vibes Cartel. Andrew Mason on behalf of the entire team with a smile as broad as Kingston, Jamaica, saying goodbye from Sabina Park.